Welcome to the 4th annual Talladega County High School Football Media Day, coming to you live from the Patterson Media Center inside the Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Jeff Ellison, and we're getting set to talk Talladega County High School football for the next 2 to 3 hours. Of course, we have all the coaches here. Of course, there's 10 teams in Talladega County. All 10 coaches are here. They've brought players along, and we'll get a lot of insight, I guess you could say, as far as what to expect come the 2015 high school football season, which gets underway in just 3 weeks. Can you believe it? 3 weeks. Some teams get started on August 20th on a Thursday night. As a matter of fact, Childersburg will be playing a Thursday night game. That coming up on the opening week of the 2015 high school football season. But again, most teams will start the 21st, that following day on Friday. Some teams will wait until August 28th to get their season underway. But still, we are talking football from a racing atmosphere. Nothing wrong with that at all, is there? We will take a break right now, then we'll be back with more. It's the Talladega County High School Football Media Day live from the Patterson Media Center here on the Friday Night Network.
Do you owe the IRS back taxes? Are you being threatened with levies or garnishments? Is the IRS investigating or auditing you? Don't call the IRS alone. Let our experts negotiate for you, so you pay the IRS as little as possible. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, call now and see if you qualify to pay less.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Reset Addiction Treatment Helpline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll find you the right treatment regardless of your financial situation. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So take 5 minutes of your time and call us right now. We're here answering the phone. I promise it'll change your life.
Call right now, 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754. That's 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Have you got the new car itch but don't want to take the plunge with a brand new car? How about getting the most car for the money at Avery Auto Sales? They have a large selection of cars with even some 2014s in the mix. And if you're worried about your credit, don't. They can help get you back on your credit feet with guaranteed approval. Check them out online at AveryAutoSales.net. Then when you see something you like, call them at 256-835-8897 for a test drive. Or just go by. Avery Auto Sales is located on Highway 78 East between Highway 78 and Snow Street in Oxford. That's Avery Auto Sales.
And welcome back to the Talladega County High School Football Media Day on this, the final day of July. Around 1:30 this afternoon, we will get started with our first coach. And the first team up will be the Childersburg Tigers under Coach Adam Fawcett, now in his 4th year heading up the Tiger program. That will be followed by, well, a new kid on the block, but really not so new. And that, of course, is Mike Battles at B.B. Comer. 45 years of coaching. His first coaching job was in Talladega County back in 1970. And boy, what a journey it's been. He's back in Talladega County now, heading the B.B. Comer program. And we'll be talking B.B. Comer Tiger football following Childersburg. And on down the list we go until the final team this afternoon. That will be Coach Robert Herring and the Talladega Tigers. So 10 coaches, 10 programs and 10 programs that are looking for big things here in this 2015 high school football campaign. Of the 10 teams that we will see this afternoon, only 4 of those teams made the state playoffs a year ago. The team advancing the furthest was Munford, of course. Munford moving on to the 3rd round of the Class 4A state high school football playoffs a year ago before falling in that particular round. But still, a lot of positive vibes, and you can just feel it here at the Ken Patterson Media Center this afternoon as all the coaches are gathering. And you know how coaches are when they get together. They're not going to talk fishing. They're not going to talk hunting. None of that stuff. Not even talk about the hot weather. And boy, it is hot out there, but they're going to talk football. And that's what we are going to talk here this afternoon as we, again, this is the 4th annual Talladega County High School Football Media Day. We'll take one more break and we will be back with more. You're watching live Media Day right here on the Friday Night Network.
Listen, if we even think you owe us money, you won't know what hit you. We'll put liens on everything you own. Raid your bank accounts, retirement fund, pension. You'll open up your paycheck and cry because we'll already have the money. We'll haul you into federal court and you might even go to jail. Hey, it's our job.
Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. Our experts will fight for you using IRS guidelines to stop any IRS actions like bank levies or wage garnishments. Plus, eliminate penalties and interest and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
I'd have my mom call the number on the screen. You come see me alone. We'll work it out. Really, we will.
Look at those toys. Insurance must be expensive. Nah.
I bet he's got an Allstate agent. They can save you up to 30% more by bundling your policies.
Well, his dog's stupid.
Poodles are one of the world's smartest breeds. Bundle and save with an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Call Alan Parnell at 256-831-8887 at the Parnell Insurance Agency on Snow Street in Oxford and in Tallapoosa, Georgia.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Big Daddy's Barbecue on Highway 21 is where Munford comes to eat. You'll always find delicious home cooking daily with fast, friendly service. Big Daddy's offers plates or sandwiches with all your favorite sides to choose from, specializing in wings, burgers, chicken, ribs, and barbecue. Open early, open late, 6 days a week. Come in with family or friends or call ahead and take it home. 256-358-9005. Big Daddy's Barbecue, proud supporters of the Munford Lions.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glen Cove, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
The Childersburg Tigers, the first team on the stage this afternoon under head coach Adam Fawcett, now in his 4th year heading up the Childersburg Tiger program. In his previous 3 years, Childersburg making postseason play all 3 of those years. They were 6-5 a year ago. An interesting story on Coach Fawcett and the Childersburg program is the fact that prior to his arrival, Childersburg had not made postseason play for 9 years. They had gone playoffless, I guess you could say. But again, the arrival of Adam Fawcett, and along with that arrival, state playoff activity, as we said, 3 straight years in postseason play and looking to make it a quartet of postseason appearances here in 2015. A year ago, as I said, they lost to Strawn in the first round of the playoffs, and it was a close one too. As a matter of fact, Coach Fawcett would tell you, thinks they should have won that football game. The final count was 29-28, and a close one there in the opening round of the Class 4A state high school football playoffs. Of course, Coach Fawcett has a couple of players with him as well that he has brought along here for Media Day. And you know, Media Day, not only in Talladega County, but throughout this area. I know recently Jefferson County had their Media Day, and a lot of counties and a lot of areas are going to this high school Media Day, just kind of branching off, I guess you could say, from the Southeastern Conference. Well, sort of, kind of, I guess you could say. But again, here at the Ken Patterson Media Center at Talladega Superspeedway, and you can't ask for a better facility. You really cannot. I mean, this is just rolling out. You talk about rolling out the red carpet. That's exactly what we're experiencing here this afternoon. I mean, good food, good hospitality, everybody with a smile on their face. It's what you expect when you come to Talladega Superspeedway, whether it be for a NASCAR race like they'll have behind me, or football media day, or if you just want to throw horseshoes in the infield. I mean, the folks are going to be so friendly to you, and we appreciate them with all their help as far as FNN's coverage and getting things set up here this afternoon to bring you the Talladega County High School Football Media Day. It's the 4th annual. Of course, Griff Hill kind of behind this, and maybe we'll talk with Griff a little later on as far as he kind of putting things together here in the last 4 years and bringing you this Media Day. Following Childersburg, I think I've already mentioned to you, but we'll go down the list briefly. B.B. Comer will be following Childersburg. Again, that will be around 1:45 this afternoon. I'm really looking forward to talking with Coach Mike Battles, and that's Mike Battles, senior of B.B. Comer, coming over from Hanley. Had so much success down through the years. 45 years of coaching by that young man, 4.5 decades, and quite a resume he has built in those 45 years. State championship at Hanley. As a matter of fact, he is only one of just a handful of coaches in the nation, not the state. He's only a handful of coaches has accomplished double-digit wins in a regular season in 3 different states. That occurring, of course, here in Alabama, also in Georgia, and at Goshen, Mississippi. So quite an accomplishment right now. Okay, let's go to the stage. You see Griff Hill. First up, the Childersburg Tigers. Here's
I'd like to
Griff.
welcome everyone to the Talladega County Coaches Association 2015 Football Media Day. We lead off with the Childersburg High School Tigers. Head coach Adam Fawcett enters his 4th year at Childersburg. Childersburg competes in Class 4A Region 3. They made 3 consecutive playoff appearances and will attempt to make their 4th consecutive appearance this year, which has never been done in school history. They opened up the season against Reeltown on August the 20th, and today we have Tylen Coleman and Michael Sanders representing Childersburg.
Coach, just talk about the guys you have with you, and how's the summer been going for you guys?
Summer's been going pretty well for us. Had a good turnout for workouts. Feel like we've gotten a lot done this summer and a lot accomplished. So looking forward to starting practice next week. And with us playing week 0, we've got a lot to get done on the practice field before we play our first game. So we've got to get a lot done in a short amount of time. So 2 guys with me today. This being my 4th year. Both of these guys are seniors. I remember them starting out as freshmen and have worked through the system, and both of them have adapted to the system and the expectations that we expect in our program. So Michael's an offensive and defensive lineman for us, puts in a lot of work in the weight room and the classroom for us, is a very good leader on the field, especially with our lineman group, does a good job getting guys to especially the younger guys to buy in. To my right, Tylen Coleman. Tylen, you could probably classify him as an athlete. He plays probably 4 or 5 different positions for us, offensively and defensively. Mainly defensive back. He can play corner. He can play safety. Offensively, he can play receiver, running back, quarterback, pretty much wherever we need him to play. So there's a lot of weight on his shoulders this year as far as expectations. And that started in the spring, and he's handled the pressure pretty well thus far. So,
Hey guys, I'm Al Muskie with the East Alabama Sports Today website out of Anniston. Adam, first, I'd just like to ask you, how significant would this thing be about getting into the playoffs 4 years in a row? I don't know what the history of your programs before you got there was, but do you see the 4 in a row as a real big significant thing? And then for the players, I would assume both of y'all are seniors. So if you make the playoffs, you will have never missed the playoffs in your high school career. So how cool is that for both of y'all? If y'all could just answer all that, I appreciate it.
I'll start out. 4 in a row for this program would be huge. Not only for the school, but the community, the guys that have been involved. You know, 4 years ago, when the seniors 4 years ago made the playoffs, you know, I explained to them, you're building a foundation here for the program. You know, to do something that hasn't been done in the history of the program is a huge feat. And for the seniors, you know, last year we had 26 seniors. This year we have 6 seniors. So those guys that are seniors this year, one thing I think they've learned and brought with them from last year is what not to do as far as the leadership standpoint of things and stuff like that. Not bickering, not worrying about a bad play, move on to the next play, so to speak, type mentality. But for 4 years in a row, and for these guys to be able to leave, making the playoffs all 4 years in a row, compared to where we've come from, is that would be huge for us.
Yeah, I would think it would be pretty awesome too, because we grew up 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and football program wasn't as well, like it wasn't as what we expected it to be. But our age group, I knew that if we could get in a good program, then it'll work out for us. So it's pretty good going 4 years, you know, making the playoffs. So let's hope we make it this year.
All we've known is making the playoffs. So having that feeling of not making it, I don't want to know what that feels like. So that's about it.
Adam, did they go before you got there, or had they never gone in a big long time?
There was a long span that they had not gone to the playoffs. I'm not real sure how long it had been, but.
But Tylen, you don't ever remember them going. While you were growing up, they never.
No, sir.
I know we were able to host a playoff game for the first time in 15 years 2 years ago. So.
I mean, Coach, just talk about, you say you lost 26 seniors. Just talk about trying to replace those guys and the positions you guys have to fill.
We've losing the senior class that we had was losing that many was probably the biggest thing to overcome. The big issue we face this year is numbers. We don't have the numbers that we've had in the past. We'll probably dress about 40 guys on game night. We don't have a big freshman class coming up, so it's not a situation where we have kids that just aren't playing. There's just not a lot of boys in the younger classes coming up. So we've got most of the guys on the field that should be on the field. There's not a lot of guys walking the halls that should be playing. So the young guys have, you can't, as a coach, you can't sit and say, well, I lost this guy and I lost that guy and I got to worry about this, worry about that. You've got to plan ahead for the team that's coming up. It's only fair for the group that's coming up to prepare for them and do the things that you have to do for them. So we've made a few changes offensively, and the kids have adapted well to that, and they like what we're doing. So that's what we're going to stick with. So and the senior class that left, they made their mark, and now it's time for this group of seniors to make their mark. So,
I mean, Coach, just talk about that new offense you're running, and how effective do you think it can be this season?
Oh, one thing we haven't had in the past is a solid group of large offensive linemen. We've had some good linemen come through, but this year we've got 5 or 6 kids that are pretty big that can move and do a good job blocking for us and can move people out of the way. So we'll be in the eye some this year. We'll still have some of our spread package stuff, but we're going to be in the eye and be under center and try and we're going to try and run straight ahead some and get after people. So a lot of my coaching staff they're excited about it because it's a lot of, to them they call it old school football. It's what I'm comfortable with and what I like too. So I'm an I guy. I like running the veer and the midline and things like that. So.
Mike, were you the biggest of the big linemen?
Actually, I'm not. So we got some pretty big guys up there.
Well, you're not the runt now, right? You're not the little guy in the bunch?
I definitely wouldn't call myself that, but.
Tyler, just talk about your new positions on offense. I think you'll be running a little bit quarterback.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be running quarterback this year, but it's not too much of a different adjustment because the guys, our age group that we grew up with, I ran quarterback a lot and JV and B team, etc. So it's not like too much of an adjustment, but it is an adjustment coming from receiver because you got more responsibilities as a quarterback. You got to keep your line in check. You got to keep receivers, make sure everybody knows the plays, etc. So it's just a little bit of adjustment, but I'm pretty sure it'll go pretty well.
Coach, just talk about that region again, man. It was a tough region, and you guys were able to get in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, our region is a pretty tough region. Top to bottom, I think it's one of the tougher regions in the state. The schedule's set. We have to play. It's very cliche to say we have to play one game at a time, but it's true. I'm not going to sit here and worry about week 6 when I got to take care of weeks 1 through 5 before we get there. So the schedule is what it is. Obviously, you've got the 4A state champions in our region in Leeds. They graduated some guys, but they've got a lot of guys back. Munford's going to be good again, and Hanley has a new coach, so you don't know what to expect with Hanley. So, we'll see what happens. Dadeville's always Dadeville. They're going to be athletic, but we'll see what happens, and at the end of the season, we'll see where we are. I feel. I'm very much the type that's very much about taking care of what we can control. We can control what we do, and that's what we're going to work on every day and be as ready as we can for game day.
Talk about that week 0 game. I know you're trying to get back at Reeltown, Coach.
First off, if I have the choice in the future, I probably will not play a week 0 game. It's we can start practice on the 3rd, and then we play the 20th. So, to me, it's not ideal, especially not having a scrimmage to get some live reps against somebody else. But that's the way the schedule worked out. But hopefully in the future we won't have a week 0 game. It's going to be good to get Reeltown on a Thursday night at our place. Last year we made a ton of mistakes there and came out with a lost by 6, 20-14, and it was it kind of hurt. That bus ride back hurt, Reeltown went on to beat 2 other teams in our region that year too. So they were a pretty good ball team, but we were the better team and didn't show it that night.
What do you guys want to accomplish this year, Coach? What are your goals for this team?
This year it's another set of seniors. It's another team. It's time to continue building on the foundation that's been set for the previous 3 years. It's obviously the playoffs are a goal in mind. It's not something that I want to focus on every day and say, we got to make the playoffs. We got to make the playoffs 4 years in a row. It's never been done. That's not a pressure point I want to apply to the team. But it's getting close to go time, and we're only a few days away. And I'm very interested to see how. Honestly, I'm interested to see how our small senior group does as far as being leaders and getting the kids to play and getting the kids to work through messed up plays and missed assignments and things like that. So, I've said before, we'll go as far as our leadership takes us on the field. And together, this group is a fun bunch. They're a very coachable bunch. The numbers aren't where we would like them, but this group's fun. We've had a good summer and had a lot of fun this summer. So we're looking forward to the first game, and hopefully we can get a good thing rolling and roll into the first 4 games and then have our off week before we play Sylacauga. So, you know, to say that making the playoffs is slim would be a kind of a poor thought in my mind. I think we're still a playoff team. I think we can still make the playoffs in the region that we're in. So, looking forward to seeing what happens. Move.
Do I pull the Griff Hill? Well, that's it for you guys. Thank you for your time.
Sounded just like him.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glen Cove, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Do you owe the IRS back taxes? Are you being threatened with levies or garnishments? Is the IRS investigating or auditing you? Don't call the IRS alone. Let our experts negotiate for you so you pay the IRS as little as possible. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, call now and see if you qualify to pay less.
Back to Talladega County High School Football Media Day from the Ken Patterson Media Center. I'm Jeff Ellison, being joined now by Adam Fawcett, the head football coach of the Childersburg Tigers. And of course, Coach, we just heard your comments, and we talked a lot about playoffs and the fact that your first 3 years as head coach of Childersburg, you've made postseason play all 3 years. But looking into year number 4, not only do you want to make the playoffs, you want to really make some noise once you get there.
Yes, sir. It's important that we continue building on the program that we built. 3 years ago, getting there was, we hadn't made the playoffs in quite some time. So it was a start 3 years ago, and now it's almost an expectation. So the seniors that are coming up were there last year for the loss in the first round when we lost by 1 to Strawn, and you know, they felt the pain of that and knew that, you know, winning that game would probably set us up for hopefully even a 3rd round game that we would host. But it didn't turn out that way, and we've got to move on from that. But the senior class is coming up. They're a good group. They work hard, very coachable group. So looking forward to seeing what they can do on the field, especially in the leadership part of things.
Prior to your arrival, Childersburg had been, not participated in the playoffs for 9 years.
Right.
Here comes Coach Fawcett, and hey, you've kind of spoiled the locals down there. They expect you to get into the playoffs every year now.
The expectations are very high in the community. So every time I get gas or go to a fast food restaurant or something, they remind me that they expect to be in the playoffs, and we expect to go further than we did last year and things like that. But I wish I could tell everybody that there was a secret to it, that I had a secret formula, and there's not one. We went in and proved to the kids that we were going to be loyal to them, and showed them that we loved them and cared about them. And, they're the ones that go out on Friday night and work hard for you.
Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck this year. I know you opened the season on a Thursday instead of a Friday against Reeltown. A little bit of a difference, but I'm sure your team will be ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll go back now. Next on the agenda is Coach Mike Battles Sr. and the B.B. Comer Tigers.
County Coaches Association Media Day. We have the B.B. Comer Memorial High School Tigers, coached by first-year head coach at Comer, Mike Battles. Comer competes in Region 3 of Class 3A. They opened the season at Childersburg on August the 28th, and today player representatives for B.B. Comer, we have Tyree McKinney and Lynn Harris.
Coach, let's talk about the guys you have with you, and how's something going for you guys?
Well, we've had a lot of work. We were behind when we got started. We finally got our coaches in, and these two right here have been big contributors for us. I don't believe we work out 3 times a week, and they've been there every time, and they've been out there gutting it out when we've been in that heat. And so I expect big things from them. I expect them to perform the rest of the year just like they have this summer, and we're ready for them to go.
Coach, year 1 in the program, what's your expectations for B.B. Comer?
We're going to go out there and we're going to be prepared to win. We're going to go out there, we're going to do just like everybody else. We don't expect to win every ball game, but we're going to try to win every ball game. And our kids, like I said, they've worked hard, and the biggest thing about us is we have a good football team. We can field a good football team. We have no spare parts. If we have a person to get hurt, we don't go to second team, we go to young, we go youth. And so right now we've probably got 14, 15 guys that we can put out there on that field and can play in 3A football with anybody. And what we want to do is we've tried all summer to develop a little depth, and we have gotten a little depth. We've gotten some depth, but we've got some 9th graders that we're going to have to play in that way. But right now, if we could go out and play a ball game tomorrow, we have everything in. What we need to do is again, like our coaches have tried to do, is build some depth so that these guys do need a break. They'll fight for 48 minutes, but they're going to get tired.
Can you just talk about trying to change the culture at Comer?
I'm not sure about changing the culture. Listen, football's football. Those kids, everybody, they'll follow anybody that knows where they're going. And that's what you got to show them. This is the direction we're going to go. We're not going to change the path. We're not going to do anything. We're going to do exactly what all the football teams in the state of Alabama do. We're going to get out there. We're going to work. We're going to be prepared. We're going to let them. They're going to know their opponent. Those kind of things right there. They're going to know the rules that we go by and live by. And so that's all we want from the kids. They don't need these two right here. Didn't need any change it. I can tell you that right now. And we've got a lot more out there. They didn't need any change. It wasn't a culture thing. They want to get out there and win football games, and we're going to.
Hey, Mike, and I know that you've been a lot of schools in your career. Is this first-year experience with these guys any different than any of the other first-year times with any of the other places that you had been? I mean, as you get older in your careers and that kind of stuff.
Here's the thing. Everything, if the personality of the coach fits the personality of the school and the kids that are in the school, then things go well. And if it's a fit, and I think it's going to be a good fit, the kids that, since I've been there in February, our alumni association, our booster club, our parents, our administrators, everybody in the county, they've been with us. And we're going to do things right, and we're going to get them out there. And I don't. There's nothing to it. I mean, it's football. I mean, it's a 100-yard field, that kind of stuff there.
How about for you from the emotional, standpoint? I mean, just like, hey, here's
No.
new start here, new start there. You know what I mean? Because you're learning, they're learning, that kind of
Well, but we have, there's, in all the places I've been, we always pretty much start off the same. We're going to get the kids out there, we're going to circle the wagons up real tight. We want to get the kids out there that are going to be committed. And once they get committed to being a team and being with us, then we don't have any problem after that. They're not playing because of me or anything else. And we've got some good coaches in now, and all of our coaches are working hard. They all know they've been at good programs, and we expect our kids, we expect ourselves. We're going to work just as hard as the kids are, and our parents and everybody else is pitched in. So I didn't see a downside to it.
It's as exciting as ever, and it's just like, hey, first day, let's get going. I mean, it feels just like your first day, I would think, right?
I still get excited. I mean, that's the big thing. As long as it cranks my tractor, I'm going to get up and go do it. I love the game, and I love there's nothing I think better for kids. I know with my sons, I learned more about my sons on the 4th and 1 than you'll ever learn handing them a set of car keys. And so and our kids at Comer are no different from the kids anywhere else. They're hard workers. They've worked as hard as we can work. I mean, if they worked any harder, but we've asked them to do a lot. They've done a lot. We have a coaching staff in now. We finally got all of our coaching slots filled, and we've got some guys that know what they're doing. And so we're ready to go. Listen, I'm anxious for the season. I think the players are. I know the parents are. We've had some 11-on-11 sessions this summer with other teams, and our kids have gotten out there and gotten with it, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them right now. But like I said, we want our biggest thing is that we just don't have a lot of depth. And if we get that, and as we stay there year after year, we'll get more and more kids into the program. Right now, this is a select few.
Tyree and Lynn, you chuckled when Coach was talking about he gets excited, cranks his tractor and all that, and you laugh. Why? I mean,
because it's true. He gets excited every day.
Every day. He gets ready one.
More so than you might have seen some other coaches that you had.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like what? I don't want you to go tell a tale on him. He's gonna make you run for him.
He's just excited all the time. He's more excited than half the players.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me something he did that shows you that does he jump on the pile? Does he, stuff that we might find amusing?
Nothing amusing. It's all serious.
All business.
Listen, our kids are they're great. And Tyree, I get out there and I get excited. I like to see a good block. I like to see somebody do something well, and I get excited when they do well, and I get real excited when they don't do well. So, there ain't much calmness out there on that practice field. So and we've got other coaches out there that are the same way. They've been at places where it's important to them to do well, and so we want to, we're not going to let it get stale. It's not going to be stale at practice. We're going to get out there. We'll get the program, and I don't care how hot it is or how wet or anything else. We're going out there and we're going to do exactly what we told them we was going to do.
This is for Tyree and Lynn. A lot of times when you have a new coach, a lot of times the leaders become basically the coaches on the field. We'll start with you, Lynn, the way you want to see this team going in not only coach's first year, but the first year of quote-unquote reviving the program, however you want to word that.
Well, I want to see people work harder, and that's already happened. But I think we're all maturing, being smarter on the field, not trying to fight everybody, all that. That's what we got in trouble with a lot last year. I think we could beat anybody last year. We was too worried about fighting them, and I think we're changing that a lot, where we just want to go out there and play football, and it's all about winning games.
Well, he was right on the first thing he said, saying that, how everybody always wanted to do their own thing, but this year we all had come in one. and we all playing as a group instead of individually.
Mike, is your August 20, and the scheduling kind of confuses me what they've done in the state the last couple of years. Is your game with Childersburg a week 0 game?
No, our game with Childersburg is August 28th. August 21st, we're playing White Plains. Now that's it's a 0 date. We're going to play 11 football games. That first one it doesn't count either way, but we're going to play it. Yeah, but we're going to play it in preparation for the next week. It's going to be go to your glass break. I mean, we're going to go out there. It's going to be 2 football teams playing a ball game. And what we're trying to do is, in most cases, high school football teams make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. So we want to get week 0 to week 1, and that's what we use it for, because we have such small numbers, and a lot of small schools do, that it's hard to get a picture in practice, because when we put our starters on offense, it's a track meet. When we put them on defense, we can't hardly get a picture, can't get the ball out of the backfield. So this right here is really, we've used these 11-on-11 sessions for that same purpose, to build depth and to see what kids are going to react, not whether we win or lose, see how they're going to react out there in the ball game, because some of these are going to be, like I said, 9th graders. And our kids have done better each week that we've prepared them. And we expect them to continue now that we can have them every day out there, and they can go do their fundamentals of football. Then they just get better. They've improved so much since spring training that it's just really, for me, and with the coaches that we got, and we didn't get all of our coaches in until right around the end of June. For them to get in there and adapt as quick as they have, they're smart. And that's easy to teach. When they're smart and tough, then you can be a winner.
It's part of the excitement for you, Coach. Like, I saw you talking about the game management part of it, having smaller numbers as compared to other places that you've been. And you hear these guys say that they could have won every game last year. It's part of the fun and part of the excitement for you, the game management part, knowing your roster, knowing what you can do, and then living up to that potential.
What I think, last year I watched their films. And they had a good football team last year. Should have won several ball games. What happened, I don't know. But I can tell you what's not going to happen with us. We're going to go out there and play by the rules. And we're going to play football the way it's supposed to be played. We're not individuals. If they want to be an individual, they can go get in the stands. We're going to play a team football, and every one of our guys, we treat them all exactly the same. It doesn't matter to me if you're 7th grade, 8th grade, if you're starting, whatever. All of our kids get out there and go to work, and so I expect every one of them to work. I expect our coaches to work, and I expect the whole thing, everybody, we're going to work, and we're going, like I said, we may not win every ball game. We're going to be prepared to win every ball game, though, if the opportunity presents itself. Guys, we appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Ooh, look at those toys. Insurance must be expensive. Nah.
I bet he's got an Allstate agent. They can save you up to 30% more by bundling your policies.
Well, his dog's stupid.
Poodles are one of the world's smartest breeds. Bundle and save with an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Call Alan Parnell at 256-831-8887 at the Parnell Insurance Agency on Snow Street in Oxford and in Tallapoosa, Georgia. Big Daddy's Barbecue on Highway 21 is where Munford comes to eat. You'll always find delicious home cooking daily with fast, friendly service. Big Daddy's offers plates or sandwiches with all your favorite sides to choose from, specializing in wings, burgers, chicken, ribs, and barbecue. Open early, open late, 6 days a week. Come in with family or friends or call ahead and take it home. 256-358-9005. Big Daddy's Barbecue, proud supporters of the Munford Lions.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
And welcome back to FNN's coverage of the Talladega County Football Media Day from the Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Jeff Ellison, and joining me now, and I've been looking forward to this, Coach Mike Battles Sr., the new head coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers. 45 years ago, not trying to make you feel old now.
I am.
4.5 decades ago, 1970, you were a defensive coordinator for the Lincoln Golden Bears, another team that wears black and gold under Coach Conrad Nix, and here we are 4.5 decades later. You're at B.B. Comer, and it's been quite a journey.
Well, it has. You know, I played football at Sylacauga, and then 45 years later, I'm ended up about 5 blocks away. You know, I'm more, but it's I've enjoyed every minute I've been at B.B. Comer. You know, and I'm not anti Sylacauga. I'm just pro B.B. Comer right now. So, that's I told Matt and all of them, I want Sylacauga to win 8 ball games. I don't want them to beat Tallahassee, or I don't want them to beat B.B. Comer. But other than that, I'm all in.
Yeah, and I see Matt sitting back there.
I've had several conversations this summer.
Well, talk about your schedule. I know you were winless a year ago, and I know you've talked about in spring training your team much improved. And
well, during spring training, I was out. I got there in February, and we had a little work to do before we even could get a football team together. And then once we got them together, and then in spring, we played a good football team. Coach Curry at Cherokee County, we went up and played them, and they pretty much drug something down the field. But after that, now we've got our coaching staff here. We didn't have our coaches in then. We've got them in now, and our kids, we've had 4 11-on-11 sessions this summer, and we've improved every time because we really can't tell with the small number of kids that we have how good we can be or what we can do because of the fact so many. Like I said, if we get our starters on offense, then they run up and down the field. If we put our starters on defense, because then we can't get the ball out of the backfield. So what we're looking to do is we're using these teams, and we're going to use that week 0 to build depth and find some other football players, because our biggest problem is going to be lack of depth. We have no spare parts at all, period. None. We don't have any. You don't have a backup. You have a young kid.
Right. Final question, I'll let you go. Mike Battles Sr., Mike Battles Jr. On a lighter note, who's the best coach?
Oh, he is by far. I'm not even in his class. We, like I said, we played them 11-on-11 a couple of times, and they beat us both times. And I'm just glad he didn't run up the score.
Coach, good luck. Then, of course, the season kicks off in about 3 weeks, and I know you're looking forward to that. As a matter of fact, you mentioned that you play White Plains. You play 11 games, and you'll start one with White Plains.
Like in most cases, schools, football teams get better from week 1 to week 2, and so we're going to use week 0 and try to get better to week 1. And so it's we're looking forward to playing it, and we're going to play them at our place, and it's going to be a regular ball game. It's not going to be we'll play to these people 10 minutes or something like that. It's going to be 48 minutes of football.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Hey, look, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up, the Fayetteville Wolves and Coach John Limbaugh. Next up for the Talladega County Coaches Association Football Media Day, we have the Fayetteville High School 4th year.
We have for the Wolves tonight, we have Darius Cook, Dustin Ingram, and Luke Murphy. Fayetteville competes in Class 2A Region 4. They opened up the season on August the 28th against Coosa Central.
Coach, just talk about how the summer been going and talk about the guys you have with you.
Got a great group of guys with me here. Darius is a senior. He's going to be playing fullback for us, linebacker. Dustin is a senior. He's our tailback. And we're going to find that spot we need him on defense this year, whether it be a linebacker or a corner. And we have Luke Murphy. He's what I want to call our anchor for our offensive line. He's the only returning offensive lineman. So we're looking for good things out of him as far as leadership roles. But these are great guys. I go to battle with them anytime. Good group.
Coach, second year in a row, just came one game short of the playoffs. Just talk about trying to get over that hump this year and getting over that hump.
Well, for the last 2 years, really, we've been 4 points short. And this past year, we laid the football in our own end zone against Thorsby. They weren't going to score. Our defense was playing lights out. And they got on the football after we fumbled it, and that's the only score they had. And, we could have won that ball game and gone to the playoffs. But it's the deal about the work is what it's about. We feel like we accomplished so much last year. It was our first year in 2A ball. We played in a tough region. You got the defending state champions, which we played lights out against them second half. We're a team that sometimes have been known to go in spurts, but if we can keep that whole sustained game where we need for it to be, we're going to be okay. That's what we've been working for. We've been working all summer long. We went to JSU, had a great time. The JSU camp there, did a couple of 7-on-7s, went to Birmingham Southern, and playing against stiffer competition, your 5, 6A groups. So we bet that gives us a little bit of edge. Matter of fact, our week 0 game, we will be playing Calera and John Carroll. So that's what we like to do is play 5 and 6A schools to get us ready to go. But we're looking forward to it.
The last few years, your offensive line your line just been your strength. Can you just talk about this line just having one guy return?
We're going to make our offensive line our strength again. We are who we are. We're a run football team. We're a run first football team. If you pass the ball, we've always heard Bear Bryant say 2 out of 3 things can happen. Those 2 are bad. So we're going to run the football. We're going to be okay. We got some great guys coming in. They learned a lot last year. They're going to learn even more as we begin to grow together. First day of practice Monday, so we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to run the football. We're going to be able to do some nice things there, and we got a good fullback and a good tailback. And we're going to be okay.
Talk about that tailback, Coach. He had 2 great years back to back. What do you expect from him this year?
Well, we had I believe it was 1275 2 years ago and 1277 last year, and I keep wondering why he won't get 1,500 yards, and he keeps telling me just give him the ball more. But we're looking for great things out of Dustin. And the thing I like about Dustin, he has a great work ethic, and he loves the game of football. And that's really what it takes is the love of the game, and he loves football. He loves the weight room, and all those things show themselves out on the field. So he's done a great job for us. We look for great things out of him and the other 29 as well.
Dustin, talk about what you want to accomplish your senior year.
I just want to be a team player this year. It's not all about me. Just pass some of the line for my teammates. The past couple of years, I want the ball, and now I'm just like being a team player. That's the number one thing.
John, how significant would it be because, as Levante had asked you had come so close to getting in last 2 years and not made it? How significant a step would it be to get over that hump and get in this year, either with this budget, just to get in?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's a step that we are at a point where we need to take it. The last 2 years, we won more football games than they have in the history of the school. And we've set some records with, 4-game winning streak, most points in a game, things of like this nature. So we've done a lot of great things with the football team. But, one thing that I'm very proud of our football team about is this. Our whole deal this year is character, integrity, and community. These guys, went to the, school and did work around the school. They go to stores and do work around the stores. This group, hadn't told them yet, but next Saturday they'll all be at the Jimmy Hale Mission. These 3 guys and 5 others will be at the Jimmy Hale Mission serving. So we do a lot of things like that because we really believe in community. We really believe in those guys that support us. They buy the signs. They help give us a little money, so forth like that, to get our program where it needs to be. Well, we're going to support them by doing the right things. And we believe that you get a win. This isn't cliche, but you get a win when you have a better kid. And we really are working toward quality people, Our team is going to be a team of integrity, a team with character that helps others, and a team that shows pride in their community. So we work toward that effort. But again, the playoffs, that's our goal. But being the right person, I think if you have a kid that challenges themselves and a kid that gets better, then you've won the day right there. It's the way I look at it, and I believe that.
You should have saw the eyes rise when you said Saturday you're going to Jimmy Hill. You know, it's just like, oh.
Yeah. They knew it was coming. They didn't know when. I hadn't told them yet.
Dustin, how significant would it be for you to make the playoffs if you did? And on a personal note, I know you're a team guy and all this, and I'm learning about a lot of you guys. 2 1,300-yard years in a row. What's your recruiting deal going? What's happening with that?
I got like a good 7 teams looking at me, college teams looking at me right now, but I just got to get my ACT score up. And once I do that, I think I'll get in somewhere good.
Anybody you want to talk? Who's on that list?
Sanford and Troy, JSU, West Alabama. There's a couple good schools.
And then the playoff deal?
It'll be-
And then all 3 players, if they'd address that, how big would it be for y'all to make it? You could start. Since you started.
In 8th grade, one of my coaches asked me, what's your goal? And I said, make the playoffs for the first time. And since then, we've been so close, so it'll be a good deal if we made it this year, my senior year.
And since the entry, you hadn't made it,
No, sir.
That's been the goal, and it hasn't happened. And that was, what, 4 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Darius, tell me your story.
Like Coach said, we're coming up 4 points short 2 years in a row. We got to get in the weight room and work more, push ourselves harder to get where we want to be. That's the only way we're going to get there. And since we were 4 points short 2 years in a row, Coach made us do 4 sets instead of 3 sets in the weight room, just so, we could get better.
I believe that we could do it. We've tried to get in the playoffs 2 years in a row, lost by 4 points. But if we get in the playoffs, which I'm sure we are, more than positive, I don't just want to get in the playoffs. If I'm going to play, I play to win. So, therefore, I want to go and I want to win playoff games. I don't just want to make it to the playoffs.
Guys, talk about giving back. I mean, how enjoyable is that for you guys just to go out and help your community make it look better?
It's a big deal because they've always been there for us. Like, if we're down and we need money or something, they're always there to pick us back up and help with family issues. We're just one big family. So it's good to get back to them.
We go out to farm links and help them. We clean out the sand pits and stuff because, they come over, the bunkers.
Yeah.
They come over there to our field, keep it good looking. So we decided we'd go help them out. Since everybody come out to our games, support us, got to get back to the community.
Had them clean the bunkers out because that's usually where I play. So they.
John, on that same line of questioning, what are some of the other things that you had them do? You talked about the farm links, you talked about the Jimmy Hale, but what other?
Well, we washed the fire trucks. We just recently did that. Washed the Fayetteville Volunteer Fire Department's trucks. Go to stores, pick up anything, litter outside, cigarette butts on the ground, washing the windows, things the kids really enjoy. So,
and it's a thing that they're doing. It's not a.
It is not for sure.
It's not a punishment thing where, look, all right, you got to go do this.
No,
You just do this.
it's not a punishment. It's not for show. It's just who we are. When we talk about character and integrity, you have to build that into a kid. And we have some great kids. I'm not kidding you. I've got 30 kids on the roster this year. They're going to go to battle. They're going to work hard. But when I grew up, my dad made me work for everything I had. He just didn't give me. He made me work for it. I drove a tractor and worked for it. So I look back on those days, and I know that's where you accomplish. You learn to work, and it goes from there. And these kids, they're workers. They're country boys, and they don't mind getting their hands dirty at all.
Just talk about your is it a quarterback battle? You got to went ahead and name the starting quarterback?
We went ahead and named Bailey Deloach our starting quarterback. Bailey gives us a lot of intangibles. He's really quick on his feet. He has a good throw, a good throwing motion as well. And he can run the ball well. So Bailey gives us a few options back there. and we really like the way that he looks. Sam Manning is the number 2 quarterback, so that's already been settled. But we're looking for some great things out of Bailey. He's going to be a junior this year, so he's ready to go, though. We've got him in the starting gate, and he's ready to go.
Any further questions?
Now, you get, this is absolutely not a football question.
Okay.
Do you get playing privileges for cleaning out the bunkers and stuff, or not? Or they just say, thanks for coming, guys, and then you gotta go pay your $100?
No, actually, you would think the AD would get playing privilege out at the Farm Lanes, but I actually have to do a lot of my playing out at Coosa Pines, and my golf coach, Grant Mannix, gets to play all the golf out there. So, but no, really, they're great to us out there. I've been out there several times, and they're wonderful, wonderful people out at Farm Lanes. But no privileges. We really do it just to do it as a way of showing our team how to work and what it takes and how to give back to the community that gives to us. That's it? Good? All right. That's it. You good? All right, y'all ready?
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife? Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glencoe, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Of the Talladega County High School Football Media Day from the Talladega Superspeedway, joining me now is 4th-year head coach of the Fayetteville Wolves, John Limbaugh. And while you were behind the desk just a moment ago, Coach, you could just see the gleam and the sparkle in your eye. I think you're ready for the football season.
Absolutely. I'm in the starting gate, bumping my nose on the gate right now, ready to go.
Well, that's
so that euphoric feeling is right before the season starts. All the hope in the world is out there, and you hadn't lost a game, and it's all, all good. So we're looking forward to it.
I take notes. I've got it written down right here. Luke Murphy had a great quote just a moment ago sitting there next to you. And it's very simple. He said, I want to win. And that's what a coach wants to hear.
Absolutely. We got a group of kids that really want to win. They're excited about the upcoming season. And Luke is going to be the anchor of our offensive line, his only returning offensive line starter. But these kids are hungry. They do want to win. They do want to go to the playoffs and continue from there. So we're excited about it.
You were 5-5 a year ago, and I know you want, as you said, you want to make the playoffs and win some more games this year. And I think you feel that you have a team that can do just that.
Well, we finally learned how to play the game of football at Fayetteville. We're playing the game of football. We're playing it hard-nosed. We're playing well. We'll look brilliant at times, and at times we look a little lackluster. So we got to put it all together for the full game. And that's what we're going to do.
And that's an interesting comment you just made as well, as learning how to play the game. You know, the coach is more than a coach, he's a teacher.
Oh, absolutely. Man, I've got the greatest group of coaches with me that a guy could have. And they're not just coaches, they're friends, but they all work so very hard. I'm so proud of our coaching staff at Fayetteville.
Talk about your region. I know you're playing in a region where you will have some pretty lengthy road trips. I know you've got
absolutely.
RC Hatch and a number of teams that it's not just a hop, skip, and a jump down to the stadium, but you've got to leave on an early Friday afternoon a number of times.
Well, that's right. We have to leave early for the Pickens County game and also for the Holy Spirit game. We'll leave early and we'll take a bus, a charter bus to those. So that'll help us out a little bit, taking the charter bus to those long trips. Yeah, moving up in class, you said we were a 1A, and I really think that the way we were playing football, we were just suited for that. And I really think had we been in 1A last year, we would have been in the playoffs. But, you know, those that were wiser saw fit to put us in 2A. That's where we fell in our classification. So in the 2A world, it was a little tougher. The regions were a little tougher, the competition a little stiffer. But my kids held up real well. They played hard. We were 5-5, like you said, but just missed the playoffs by so much. So it's just, we're right on the edge. We're on the cusp of doing something even more special than we have the last couple of years. So we're just going to kick off and see what happens.
Think you could get me a tea time at Farm Leagues?
I believe we can manage that.
Look forward to it. Coach, good luck this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Coach John Limbaugh of the Fayetteville Wolves. And now let's learn about the Lincoln Golden Bears.
You said sitting there.
Next up for the Talladega County Coaches Association 2015 Football Media Day, we have the Lincoln High School Golden Bears, coached by Brad Wallace, entering his third year at the helm. Today, Lincoln High School is represented by K.J. Collins, Devontae Whiteside, and Zay Caldwell. The Golden Bears compete in Class 5A Region 6. They've made the playoffs 7 of the last 8 seasons and are the defending 5A Region 6 champions. The Golden Bears open the season at Pell City on August 28th.
Coach, talk about your summer and the guys you got with you.
First off, I'm going to introduce the guys I've got with me. I've got Zay Caldwell, K.J. Collins, and Devontae Whiteside. These three young men are my vocal leaders on my football team. A lot of times they're the ones that, when things aren't going right, they make adversity go away. And I'm real excited about these guys being in the leadership helm of our football and getting them in a ball game, and let's see what happens with these younger group that's coming through. I know this is our third year. We've talked about it's been a building process. It's been this going on for about 3 years. Well, the building process is over. I think this time for this group to come out and shine and show Lincoln community what we're made of every year, every week.
I know you were talking about you don't believe in rebuilding. You lost a lot of big names last year, but you got a full. You're loaded with talent, Coach. Just talk about the talent you have and your expectations for this team.
The main thing when we came into this season, I mean, at first the first thing you think about is you've lost John Tavius, you've lost your Mario, you've lost Runye Bell, and there's a great nucleus of seniors that we did lose last year. But when you walk into the weight room on that Tuesday, on that Monday after the last ball game, and you turn around and they're pushing each other again and getting it started back up, and I mean it's like it never left, and it's a leadership role that they kind of left with these guys, and it's you can see it. I mean, last year's football team, yeah, they laid a foundation for us, and we beat a great 5A team that was number 3 in the state at the time, and it was a great football game for us, and it was for the first time we'd beat a ranked opponent in 5A last year. We've always got goals. And one of our goals this year is, I mean, it's been 5 years since we won a non-region game, and so we're into our goals and setting goals for our football team, and we want them to be high. And I expect it to be high with these guys because, I mean, I'm gonna put a lot of pressure on them. So let's go out there and achieve goals and be successful. I mean, we went to the second round, went to the first round my first year, second round this year. Let's see what happens. See if we can get to 5. So that's what we're thinking about, and of course we're thinking about our region title at the beginning.
Brian, when you talk about wanting to win a non-region, and I know it's only been here for a couple of years, but do you play way up in level when you play your non-region games, and that's what makes that difficult to win? Whether you play a 6A or not, but it's a really good non-region game.
Well, I think the Pell City game right off the bat, I think that's a local game. Right. It'll draw a crowd, number one, but number two, I mean, it's a rivalry. A lot of our guys hang out with a lot of theirs, and they know each other. And I wouldn't say it's a rival, but it's something that they look forward to playing every year. And then you've got 2 Talladega County teams that are strong year in, year out, with Munford and Childersburg right in the middle and at the end. I mean, we've got a tough schedule. A lot of people wonder why I put all that on there, and I'm not scared to put these guys in front of somebody. So I want to see what they can do.
And the other something that you had said earlier, that the building process is over. I mean, it was a 2-year building process capped by the region champions, so now it's time to take the next step. Is that what y'all are?
That's exactly right. I don't want it. We don't want to talk about it. It's a cycle that we're trying to get in, or we're trying to build. We've got a foundation. Let's make the house, and that's what we want to try to do with this football team this year. I've got a great nucleus of seniors. These guys sitting up here at the table, I could have brought probably 15 guys in here. I mean, they've pushed each other. They've worked with each other. Don't really have to worry about them skipping a rep in the weight room. You don't have to worry about them skipping on sprints. They're giving it their all at all times. And I've been excited about the summer. I mean, we stepped summer up. You can ask any of these 3 guys. Summer is not a normal summer this year. I mean, we did a little bit. We worked on us in June. There was no football skills whatsoever, no 7-on-7. We wanted to work on our football team and get us together and try to build and learn what I mean. Our motto this year is all in, and learn what that means. And I think they achieved it during the month of June, and we stepped it up again in July. So, and they've never backed down from a challenge.
Just talk about the off season and just trying to build and come together as a team. Let's start with Zay Caldwell. Go ahead.
Off season, it was kind of hard because you recovering from being banged up from all football season. He gave us a couple weeks off for everybody to heal and get back in shape and get 100%. We got back in the weight room and start preparing for this year.
Off season was one of the hardest to me because I was really banged up with all the hard games we played. So, go ahead.
Well, all season it was hard, but we had to fight through it. We had to get our heads right for this season coming up.
Will each of the 3 players just address the next step idea where you won the region last year, and you know what'd you say, Brad? First round the first year, second round the second year. Just obviously you know what the next step is, where 3rd round and beyond. Just what that means to you. What's it been like to build to that point?
After the first 10 regular season games are over, we take the playoffs one game by one. First round, we take that, practice that whole week very seriously, and then we don't think about no other opponent besides the opponent we are playing that week.
Has it been fun building it to this point? Because, I mean, I think you can feel where y'all are at right now. That's what I'm driving at. Can you feel how close you are to
Yeah, it's been the grind. It's been the grind. 'Cause for the last couple of years, we had coaches come in and out, and we finally found a coach that came back home and stuck with us through thick through thin. So he's always going to be there for us. No matter what we need, anything off on the football field, he's always going to be there for us.
Tell me what your guys, Devontae, KJ, what your sense is on how, I don't know, excited or where you feel, how close you guys are to being at the highest level that you've been?
Well, we got potential. We got the athletes. We just got to get ready for it, take it real serious, and do what we got to do to bring it home.
Yeah, like he said, we got the talent. And like Coach said, we all got to be all in.
They've played receiver, played defensive back. Now you've had a lot of snaps at quarterback. Talk about your comfort level as you head into this season, not only with the playbook, but with the guys that are around you and in your position.
I'm very comfortable with the players around me in the playbook. We've been running the same offense for the last 3 years. I'm very comfortable. I know everything, what players supposed to be where, and I've been playing with these guys since I was like 5 years old. So it's just a old memory, but something new.
Coach, on that same respect, having a quarterback that's been there, having a guy with a lot of experience, we talked ad nauseum about the guys that have left, but a guy like Zay who's been there for a long time and a leader on the field.
I mean, when you think about Zay, I mean, there's a lot of times last year he got us out of some binds with his wheels. I mean, he takes some chances sometimes, and a lot of times they work out, and it's a betterment for the team. And just having him for 2 years at a position, we haven't had that at quarterback. I mean, when I first got there, we had Chance. The next year, we were wondering who our quarterback was going to be honest with you. And Zay came out on top and did a great job for us his junior year, and we look forward to seeing him a lot more this year and carrying that leadership role throughout the season.
Can you just talk about his role? I know you're going to have him shifting around a little bit.
Yeah, we've got another quarterback that's a backup to him is Kendarius Truss, and the thing that I like about both of these, they both have different skill levels of what they can do with us, and we've got different kind of like it's almost like two different playbooks, but it's really the same stuff. But we want to be able to use both quarterbacks. We want to be able to put Zay maybe at a receiver every now and then during the game, and let him be another part of the game, and let them have to adjust to having a guy like Zay out at receiver, and which we've got a phenomenal group already out there. But I mean, you put Zay out there, and you've got our receiving core that rotates with him, and you've got a phenomenal group at our athletic spot at least.
Let's talk about your line. You said you were impressed with the guys you have coming back on your offensive line.
Our offensive line have played together for a long time with me, and which a long time is 3 years. They've been with me, and they're a phenomenal group. They don't get a lot of publicity in the paper. They don't choose that role, but what they do is they have to help these guys out making plays, and they're very unselfish. I mean, they understand their role, what their role is on the football team, and I guess it's with any hog, what they call the hogs, the offensive linemen. It's with any of them. They all have to grit their teeth every now and then when big things happen. It's not one of these deals where you're going to get your name in the paper every week. But what they do is they'll come in and they busted their tail and made them into something. And what's so phenomenal about this season is I've got 5, and then I got somebody I can stick in right behind them. And so I've got a little depth this year to be able to run. I mean, we run our no-huddle offense, and I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, we're going to run our no-huddle, and to have extra offensive linemen to stick in there to keep them fresh throughout a ball game, I mean, the sky's the limit what you can do with that. It's the flat black, and there may be a little change next year, so.
Oh, not this fall, but the one coming up.
That's right.
It's like they just kind of like painted it, a regular
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Listen, if we even think you owe us money, you won't know what hit you. We'll put liens on everything you own. Raid your bank accounts, retirement fund, pension. You'll open up your paycheck and cry because we'll already have the money. We'll haul you into federal court and you might even go to jail. Hey, it's our job.
Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. Our experts will fight for you using IRS guidelines to stop any IRS actions like bank levies or wage garnishments. Plus, eliminate penalties and interest and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
I'd have my mom call the number on the screen. You come see me alone. We'll work it out. Really, we will.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glencoe, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
And welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway. It's the Talladega County High School Football Media Day, the 4th edition. Joining me now is the head coach of the Golden Bears. That's Brad Wallace. Of course, hometown boy. How does that feel? I mean, is that an advantage for you?
It is. I mean, it gives me a little bit bigger drive. I think when I first came into Lincoln High School, I had a meeting with all the student athletes, and I told them, I said, once black and gold's in your blood, it's there for life, and that's what I came back for, is to try to make our school back the way I thought it used to be. I mean, it used to be at a high level at all times, and it used to be stable. And Coach Brooks was there for 28 years, and I knew who my head coach was the next year. And a lot of these guys now do, but when I first got there, they didn't know what that felt like.
Hard to believe it's been 17 years since the Golden Bears played in the state championship game back in 1999 against Briarwood, and I know you'd like to take your Bears back to the title game.
I would, and we played a really good football team in our second round last year. It was Pleasant Grove, which finally they played for the state championship at the end. And our kids got a little taste of what it's like in that game. And I told them, I said, we got it about 3 weeks after the season, and they're fixing to start state championship game. And I said, guys, that was the team that we got through playing. I said, you know where you've got to work for now to get to that top spot. So we've kind of taken the hard work and put it on our back and went into the weight room and got conditioned and ready to go for this season.
What concerns you the most about your team this year?
The only thing, I mean, we've had a problem with when adversity strikes, are we going to stay stable in it? And this group, I think they really got their head on the shoulders right, and when things go bad, I think they can pull it back out. So I mean, it's one of those deals where we've got to stay in a steady stream the whole year.
Your offensive line, I understand, maybe one of your strengths.
Is they're not the biggest group in the world. They're strong. We're probably stronger right now than we were last year on our offensive line, but we're not the biggest group. But they play hard, they play together, they communicate together with each other. Half of them are, I think, I was joking with them the other day, and 3 of the 5 were cousins. So at some point in time, they've been at each other's house. So it was kind of fun hanging out with them. I coach them every day and getting them ready for this season.
I know a year ago we covered a couple of your games here on FNN, but you had a team that put a lot of points on the board.
We do. I mean, we've got potential of doing that every week. It's, sometimes we get in a slump at the beginning. The one thing that I've really harped on this year is we've got to start out fast, and we got to start every game out fast and do the right things to be ready to win major ball games. And like I said a while ago, it's been 5 years since we won a non-region opponent, and that's one of our big deals right now. We want to take care of even out of our region. We want to be a solid football team throughout the whole year.
Well, let's talk about your region. I mean, you're participating in a region with Anniston, with Alexandria, with Mortimer Jordan. I mean, it's some tough competition. And
to be honest with you, a lot of those teams were young last year. When we looked at them on the depth charts and we charted them, and we noticed, I know Alexandria, they had a freshman running back last year that was phenomenal. And you've got Anniston that's always going to have a slew of talent. And Mortimer Jordan's going to bounce back. I mean, yeah, they lost a lot of their seniors off of that football team last year, but they'll still be a phenomenal team. And I'm going to tell you something, that everybody better not let go of Springville. Springville was a phenomenal football team. They were probably one of the most hard-nosed group of 10th graders I've ever laid my eyes on. So they're going to be a great football team coming up.
And you opened the season with
Pell City.
And you're one of the teams that does not open the season on the 21st, is that right?
That is correct. We open on the 28th. We do play a scrimmage game on the 21st with Welborn, but we open up with Pell City.
And that was a team that, well, I think they came out on the defeated you maybe very handily a year ago, but I'm sure your team learned from that.
Well, we played very hard the first half of that ball game, but the second half was where we got our points scored on us, and that's just part of our adversity part of it. We've got to learn to overcome that.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next up, it's the mighty Munford Lions.
We're ready. Okay, welcome back to the 2015 Talladega County Coaches Association Football Media Day. Next up, we have the Munford High School Lions with first-year head coach Bill Smith. Representing the Lions, we have Austin Campbell and Austin Stevens. The Lions compete in Class 4A Region 3. They advanced to the quarterfinals of the high school playoffs last season. They opened the season on August the 21st at Central of Clay County.
Coach, talk about how the summer's been going and the guys you got with you.
Well, we've had an excellent summer, and we started really the first week in June, and we've gone full speed pretty much the whole summer. But I've let these guys off a little bit this week to kind of refresh themselves, let the coaches refresh themselves a little bit. Got Austin Campbell with me on the left. It's his second year to be a starter for the Lions. He's going to play a bunch of different positions. So he'll play some at wide receiver, some as defensive back, some at quarterback. And he did a good job last year, started at corner. And so I have Austin Stevens to my right. He is a 3-year starter at linebacker. He's got over 220 and 240 tackles in the last 2 years. And so we're expecting another big year. Both of these guys were all county last year. And so they provided I have 15 seniors, and these two have really stepped it up, along with several other seniors I could have brought. But I let my assistant coaches vote on the two guys that came with us, and these two guys got the most votes from my coaches. So, but anyway, they've done a great job.
I want to ask the players, the Austin twins, I'll call them that.
Okay.
How has it been? And I know Coach is sitting here in between y'all, but I want to get y'all to talk about the differences that you've noticed between Coach Wagner and I don't know Coach Smith. I'll say that. So I'm just going to say that I know Coach Wagner's a pretty intense individual. I know he was when he was a player. When I knew him, I don't know how he was as a coach, but I think he's still that way. But is there any differences between playing for Coach Wagner and playing for Coach Smith and the little bit of time that you've gotten to know him?
Well, the first thing that stands out for me is both guys are their relationship with God is the most important thing, and I feel like that's the most important thing. And both of them when they first came, they let everybody know that's, they use this as their football as their ministry, and for me as a Christian following God, that's a big thing. I don't even know the guy, and he comes in saying that, you're like, all right, he's gonna be good for us. And then as far as the intensity and everything, well, at practice, Coach Whiting he's the same in the game. He's trying to get on you, but that's just how he coaches. Every coach has their way of doing things. And Coach Smith's the same way, but more so like 7-on-7s, than practice. Whenever it's a game time situation, he's on you, but it's just for the best. You gotta just roll with how he goes.
You don't have to say anything. No, but go ahead. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, Coach Smith's real intense. I've known him for a couple months, and I feel like I've known him forever. And ever since he's been here, his intensity level's been high, through the roof.
Well said.
You don't have to run it. Bill, what has it been like this? The transition, coming to obviously a new team. What's the first couple of months been like for you? You laying down your law, them getting to know you, you putting in stuff. It's a new deal. Is it in?
No, it's mostly in. Just a couple of things about I think this is my 8th or 9th stop, and so I've been a strength coach, I've been a coordinator, I've been a head coach, and in Georgia and in Alabama. So it's very refreshing. My principal, Mr. Tim Young, has been fabulous, and he's allowed me to hire really good staff. It's unusual for a 4A county system to be able to bring in 5 assistant coaches. And so I know Coach Wagner took 3 or 4 guys with him to Hazel Green, and I was able to replace those guys plus another teacher or 2, and with really good men that I've known for a long time, and that I've either coached them or coached with them. So I'm very, very blessed to have a really good staff that I was able to put together. So from that standpoint, I'm coming into a community that's gung-ho about football. That's exciting. And I've only met Coach Wagner one time, but I know some of his staff pretty good, getting to work with them for 3 or 4 months. Well, 2 months, April and May at Munford, and with Coach Firestone and Coach Heath, and then Coach Burke and several others, good guys. So when I got the job, I certainly didn't pour mouth with what I inherited. I inherited some really good guys and some good football players, and they know how to work. We've averaged about 127 players a day. Now that's 7th grade through 12th, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And then in July, we went 4 days a week. So, it's rare for us to have one starter to miss a workout. When we'd go out and do some position work or do some 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, we had all of our players. So that was outstanding. So,
is this? I try to ask Battles this because he's been to several places. Is this first year here any different than any of the other first years at the other places that you had been?
Yes. It's when I went to Crossville back in 6 or 7 years ago, they hadn't won in several years. The morale was low. And when I went to Shades Valley 4 years ago, they hadn't won in a decade, and the morale was low. So I'm stepping into a situation where, we got good numbers. The morale, you walk, in the hallways and everything, and people, I knew the situation was a little different when I took part in the graduation this year. I asked Mr. Young, I said, what time do I need to be at graduation? He said, well, we're opening the gates at 4:30. I said, well, I thought the graduation starts at 7. He said, it does. He said, there'll be people waiting to get in at 4:30. And I thought it would be wrong, but when I opened the gate at 4:30, we already had a line of people ready to get in and get their seats. So.
And then to work in a situation now where the morale is really high, and
That's-
you guys are examples of that.
Yes, they are.
How much ahead of the game are you now than you were at so many other places?
Oh yeah, much ahead of the game, and part of it is because now in the spring, Coach Tyree, my defensive coordinator, came on board, and so he was able to coach during the spring. But I didn't have an offensive line coach for spring, so I had to split time. I didn't have my offensive coordinator for spring, so I had to do offensive line, and then I had 2 coaches that are holdover coaches from the former staff, really good guys, but I had to teach them on the run. So that was kind of tough, but having a really good staff that's been with me for the summer, and I've got one that's getting his driver's ed last test today in driver's ed, so he'll be with.
He's taking it or giving it?
Well, he's taking the driver's ed instructor course at UAB, so he'll be with us when we have a staff meeting on Sunday. So it's been good.
Coach, what's your expectation for year 1?
When before I interviewed, I knew I had an interview coming up at Munford, and to be honest, I wasn't very familiar with East Alabama. So I've coached in Northeast Alabama, Mobile, and Northwest Alabama, and in Birmingham. So, but we drove, my fiance then, now my wife, we drove to the stadium and took a look at the stadium and everything, and so we loved it. Kind of felt like we were home, and we were hoping that I'd get the job, and I did. That being said, I don't, other than some of the film that I've watched on last year, I'm not that familiar with the region, but I know it's very, very tough. And the schedule for 4A is extremely tough, with teams like Lincoln and Dadeville and teams that, and you got Leeds returning 6 All-State players back from, they had 10 All-State players last year, 6 of them are coming back. So it's going to be very challenging. I know it's a cliche, but one game at a time, and so we'll see. We'll see. Of course, we have new regulations now on practices and contact minutes and stuff like that. But we'll hit the ground running Monday, and but I think we're way ahead of where we were at Shades Valley and at Crossville, 2 other stops I had.
Because it starts Monday and you're new, you're probably not a gimmicky guy, but I mean, when you go Monday, is it 7:30 a.m.? Is it 3:30 in the morning to beat everybody? Are you one of those kind of guys?
We're not going to do Midnight Madness. I was an assistant coach on a team that did that years ago, but we've got to be teachers. Our whole staff does. So I've got 7 assistants, and we'll be at school doing school things. We won't start practice till 3:30, and so. But we'll be meeting a lot this weekend, making sure we got everything ready to roll for Monday. And of course, we'll be in, shorts and helmets and all that. We've done a lot of weightlifting and stuff this summer. We haven't done a whole lot of installation. We've done some, but we got to do a lot of special teams work for the next 3 weeks because we're at less than 21 days away because we play on the 21st, which will be the earliest.
Is it a real game?
It is. It is, and so it's kind of neat to actually have an off week in the season. So, and I think ours is week 9 or week 10, depending on how you call it. So I do like that, but I've never played a regulation game as early as August the 21st. So it could be a little warm.
A couple guys don't like that idea of week 0 game.
I do. I like it. But with the way the rules are now, and back in the 80s when I played high school ball, a coach could not be on the field in the summertime with a player. And so it was the same way with basketball and baseball. You really couldn't work your kids out. You tell them, y'all need to work out on your own. And so, but I think things are better now because of the fact that we can do things like that in the summer.
Talk about your installation process, rubbing up against the rules. I'll address this to the coach and then both the players. Talk about some of the ways that you want to instill it and then the way you want to install everything, like from not only what you want to do, X's and O's, but the way you want to see it done between now and the 21st.
Okay. I'm not an old school. I'm old school because I'm 48. But and back in the day, we were talking with some older coaches. 83, 84 at Russellville. I don't know where it was. Everywhere we did 3 days for 2 solid weeks, full gear every day. We did full gear from 7 a.m. to 9. Then we had shells from 11 to 12:30 for special teams. And then we got to eat a little bit and take a nap, and then from 5:30 to 7:30 we were full gear again. We did that for 2 weeks. So I don't know how many kids we would have these days if we still did that. But I've been kind of a Hal Mummy, Mike Leach guy since 2000 when I started running spread offense at Russellville in 2000. I haven't done a whole lot of full gear. I'm scared to death of getting a starter injured in practice. And so, people used to laugh at Hal Mummy because they didn't go full speed during practice, but he said he didn't want his starters getting injured on a practice. So I've tried to go thud with, for the last 5 or 6 years since I've been a head coach. We try to not tackle to the ground because most injuries happen with friendly fire. Like if they're engaged tackling, most of the injuries happen when they fall into somebody. So that's a key thing. I haven't practiced over 2.5 hours since I've been a head coach. And so we try to schedule our practice, Monday's usually about 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Tuesday's our longest practice, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Wednesday's about 1 hour and 45. Thursday's a walkthrough. I send them home on the bus on Thursday. So I've tried to, with the rule changes, it's not going to affect the way I practice a whole lot. We want to practice fast. I would rather get 90 minutes of intensity than 3 hours of going half speed. I think you get a lot more out of that.
And for the players, is there a different intensity knowing that there is a shorter window to make sure you get everything, and for you guys as leaders, making sure that you have everything set in place before the 21st?
Well, I feel like as seniors, you got to take initiative, but we have, to get that stuff in, but we have coaches that on offensive side, defense too, but my main position is receiver, and Coach LeBeau, Darryl LeBeau, come from Shades Valley with Coach Smith. Yesterday, 4 of us guys went and watched, for 4 hours, watched film, blocking drills. That was on our own. So, not scheduled, like days that we put in work when it's not scheduled to be, that's where we get our work in. So, yeah, we're not going to skip a beat. We're doing what we're supposed to do and more. We want it, so we're putting in the work in, behind closed doors. So.
Our defense coach left, so we got another one. Coach Tyree came in, and we're really on the same defense, but we're having to learn like the calls and stuff. So ain't really nothing changing. But
let me brag on this guy. Just watching film, okay, some college is going to be very, very fortunate to get this guy. 5'10". Are you weighing about 210 now?
I'm weighing 215.
215?
Yep.
Well, you better not lose any speed. But his football speed, he runs probably a 4.8. His football speed's about a 4.55. So I've been very, very impressed just watching film and the way you guys work. So
I know you've been on campus for a couple of months, but you talked about your familiarity with East Alabama and Latrobe or whatever, but have players or community told you anything about the intensity of Lincoln Munford? I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but it's one of the biggest and best rivalries in the state of Alabama. How about your familiarity with that and what you
well, just two things I'll say about that. It didn't take me very long, we had a meet and greet, a day or so after I got hired, and so in our cafeteria, and so Mr. Young was there, he introduced me, and I had so many people come up, Coach, we're going to support you all the way. Just got to beat Lincoln. So, but no, they tell me, Coach, we're going to beat all that. But you'll hear us yelling at you from the stands, Coach. We still love you. So I've been told that before. And so, fortunately, I'm very ADD, and I'll have on headphones. So I don't hear stuff. They can be screaming at me back there. I don't hear a thing. And so, it is very, very tough schedule, and but we're looking forward to the challenge. But really, I haven't looked past week one. I've watched very little film past week one, so we just got to be ready. We're ready for that first week.
Well, having said that though, and knowing that it's Lincoln Munford, it's the tightest, and you've been numerous places, just where and I know you haven't played Lincoln Munford yet, but you hear about it. Where would you anticipate that intensity being with some of the other ones that you've been at, and what would it like in it?
Well, here's my first thought, is that I hope it's great weather, and I hope we have a $25,000 gate. Because we need the money. We need the money, pay our bills and stuff and so forth. So, but no, rivalries are great. I mean, when you're, we played several games the last 2 years I was at Shades Valley where we knew we were going to blow somebody out, and that's you have to learn how to practice, knowing that the starters know they're going to play 2 quarters. So with a schedule like this and playing teams like Lincoln and like Dadeville and like just the rest of the schedule with Leeds and everything, the expectations, and you know what the challenges are going to be, and so you come out ready to practice.
What were the other ones that you were, just the other places you were at?
Well, growing up at Russellville, Colbert County and Russellville was a huge rivalry. I mean, there might be 9,000 people at those games back in the 80s. It's lost a lot of its luster, a lot of changes in those 2 schools. I was at Lee County, Georgia. We had some rivalries, Thomas County Central and Bainbridge, Georgia. We had several games. We beat TCC we stopped them on a 2-point conversion in front of about 10,000 with there to win the region for the first time in school history. And then Crossville, we had the Battle of Skirham Creek. That's one of the longest rivalries in high school, and so my last game there, we scored on a 2-point conversion to win 43-42. So, but just looking at film and seeing, people standing around the fence and 2 deep, in the end zone and stuff, that's exciting. And so, we're looking forward to it.
Let's just talk about your quarterback battle. I know you had a 3-man race going into spring. Did anything clear up, or do you have a clear-cut starter going into fall practice?
Well, right now, Avery Harris is still on. If I had a depth chart right here with Coach LeBeau, my offensive coordinator, Avery would probably be 1A, and Austin would be 1B, and Tanner Reeves, our 10th grader, would be 1C. But, I can't pour mouth about the depth I have at quarterback right now. I have good depth at quarterback, and I've been at places where I wouldn't. I'd be very, very scared to run my quarterback on a called run play because I wouldn't have a backup. But so it's great in the sense that, and plus, I've been extremely impressed with the fact that we have not shown any signs of jealousy from quarterbacks to other folks. So that's been very, very refreshing.
Okay. Talk about your defense with these 2 guys back, Coach. You got one of the best linebackers in the state of Alabama right there with you.
Well, I'm glad that you appreciate Austin's ability. He's really, really good player. We feel like we're going to have a very, very good defense this year. We're not very big. I think that's one of the reasons that we'll probably continue with running the 3-3 defense, and we're going to try to bring pressure. We've got good speed. We've got decent size, but C.J. Foster is another linebacker that we have. He's a senior that started last year, and he's doing a good job at the other linebacker. Greg Lawrence anchors our front. He's not extremely tall, but he's very strong, and he's a 365, 375 bench presser, and 200. He's lost some weight. I told him he's worried about what he looks like on the beach now, but he's about 235 now. And at 5'9", he's very, very solid for us. And so, what's Dylan's last name?
Campbell.
Dylan Campbell had an old person's moment there for a second. Dylan Campbell's a 10th grader for us. That's doing a really good job at the other defensive end. And we feel like he's going to be a college player, but he's a sophomore. Savion Hill is not real big, but he has a high motor. He's another senior. He'll be at another defensive end. He started last year. And so I love the way Savion has worked this summer. I mean, he doesn't talk a lot, but he is full speed on every drill, every rep in the weight room. Every rep we run a gasser. He's full speed. Avery started at strong safety for us last year and did a great job, but I don't know how much defense he'll play this year at quarter. But and then Austin started at corner. So, we may play some guys both ways, but right now we want to have 22 starters, but we will have to have probably some guys ready to play some both ways.
Austin Stevens, talk about your expectations for your senior year. And I mean, can you take your game to another level? Like last year, you were everywhere on the field. Can you take it to another level this year?
I think so. I think I need to be more physical. There's times I watch film. I mean, I don't think I was 100%. And my expectations are, what everybody's expectations are in 4A, win state, win every game.
And what did you play at last year? About 195, 200?
I was 175 when the season ended.
175 when the season ended. Well, you ought to be able to be more physical then.
That's your influence as a strength coach, a former strength coach, right?
Well, that was my first love. It was strength coach. 1992, Muscle Shoals hired me to be the strength lab coordinator. So I think I was the first full-time strength coach in the state of Alabama then. And so, but nutrition is huge. I've tried to preach it, and so I think they've listened to it. They were already doing the right things anyway. Coach Firestone had done a really good job in the weight room.
Any further questions? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Ooh, look at those toys. Insurance must be expensive. Nah.
I bet he's got an Allstate agent. They can save you up to 30% more by bundling your policies.
Well, his dog's stupid.
Poodles are one of the world's smartest breeds. Bundle and save with an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Call Alan Parnell at 256-831-8887 at the Parnell Insurance Agency on Snow Street in Oxford and in Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glencoe, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
Big Daddy's Barbecue on Highway 21 is where Munford comes to eat. You'll always find delicious home cooking daily with fast, friendly service. Big Daddy's offers plates or sandwiches with all your favorite sides to choose from, specializing in wings, burgers, chicken, ribs, and barbecue. Open early, open late, 6 days a week. Come in with family or friends or call ahead and take it home. 256-358-9005. Big Daddy's Barbecue, proud supporters of the Munford Lions.
Listen, if we even think you owe us money, you won't know what hit you. We'll put liens on everything you own. Raid your bank accounts, retirement fund, pension. You'll open up your paycheck and cry because we'll already have the money. We'll haul you into federal court and you might even go to jail. Hey, it's our job.
Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. Our experts will fight for you using IRS guidelines to stop any IRS actions like bank levies or wage garnishments. Plus, eliminate penalties and interest and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
I'd have my mom call the number on the screen. You come see me alone. We'll work it out. Really, we will.
Have you got the new car itch but don't want to take the plunge with a brand new car? How about getting the most car for the money at Avery Auto Sales? They have a large selection of cars with even some 2014s in the mix. And if you're worried about your credit, don't. They can help get you back on your credit feet with guaranteed approval. Check them out online at AveryAutoSales.net. Then when you see something you like, call them at 256-835-8897 for a test drive. Or just go by. Avery Auto Sales is located on Highway 78 East between Highway 78 and Snow Street in Oxford. That's Avery Auto Sales.
And welcome back to Media Day here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me now is first-year head coach of the Munford Lions, Bill Smith. Everything's new with Coach Smith. Got a new job, got a new wife, got a new house. Hey, it's all new.
It's all new. It took 48 years for the good Lord to give me the right one, and He sure did. So I've been very blessed to have Ann to be my wife for 4 weeks and 6 days, and very blessed to have the job I have at Munford High School.
I was going to talk about that, Coach. Of course, coming from Shades Valley, and of course, this is just my personal opinion, but as far as a community that supports its program, Munford may be second to none. I'm sure you've already found that out.
Oh, the community, of course, I eat at Big Daddy's about every other day, sometimes every day. And so I put on about 15 pounds I need to get off, but the community's, so excited about their programs, and football is definitely, they're very excited about it. And so, but they come up to me, Coach, now we're going to yell at you on Friday nights, but we'll love you on Monday. So they let me know that they're passionate about their football.
I know you addressed this a moment ago behind the desk, but there's some Munford coaches, Coach, that I'm sure will tell you, I don't care if you go 1-9, just make sure that one wins against Lincoln.
Well, they haven't said 1-9, but they have said, Coach, just beat Lincoln. So, I know the importance of that game, and so, but we're not, not to use too many cliches. We are just worried about Central Clay County right now, but we definitely know that game is a big one, and so we definitely need the money. And so this year, I'm very thankful that it's our place. So I hope we have a huge crowd.
Yeah,
at the Lincoln game.
Yeah, that Central game a year ago was a war, 10-7. You saw that game right here on FNN. But talk about your region. I mean, there's no easy ones there when you talk about Dadeville, and I mean, you know, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely. I think it's probably the toughest region in the state. In 4A, it's the most competitive region. And so, you know, with Leeds returning 6 All-State players, they had 10 All-State players last year, and they're returning 6. They're going to be very formidable. And so, but just going down the list of teams, it's a who's who of 4A teams. You got guys committing to Alabama, you know, and Tennessee. And every day I'm reading on AL.com another player from our region that's already committed to play SEC football.
Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Up next, Coach Chris Mahan of the TC Central Fighting Tigers.
Welcome back to the 2015 Talladega County Coaches Association Football Media Day. Next up, we have the Talladega County Central High School Fighting Tigers with head coach Chris Mahan entering his 2nd year back in Howells Cove. Today we have Travell Stockdale and DeQuavian Wright representing the Fighting Tigers. They compete in Class 1A Region 5. Last year they lost in the first round of the playoffs to Hackleburg. They opened the season at Talladega on August 21st.
Coach, talk about the guys you got with you in summer. How summer's been going for you guys?
Summer's been going pretty good. DQ and Travell, there's 2 of my senior leaders. We're looking to have a pretty good year this year. The summer's been going pretty good. The numbers I wish were better, but the guys have been productive. The ones that's been there, I've been real pleased with the work they put in this year to be competitive this year.
Talk about year 2, Coach. Is making steps, taking strides, and trying to get to the next level for TC Central.
Well, we're definitely expected to do a little bit better than we did this past year. You know, we were young last year. We're going to be young this year as well, but that's not going to be an excuse. You know, the experience factor, I think, is going to be really big for us. We don't have a lot of seniors, but the seniors we do have been committed to see the team get better. And there have been some pretty good role models from a younger kids to show them how I wanted to get it done. So we're definitely expecting a productive year this year, and I'm going to be disappointed just like they are if we don't have one. You know, we definitely have a good region that we play in. I think it's one of the most competitive regions in 1A, but I think if we play the football that we're capable of playing, that we could have a pretty good chance of being successful this year.
Chris, how helpful was it to get into playoffs last year in that first year? Because I mean, clearly you want to reestablish stuff. You know, the fact that you were able to go lay a little bit of groundwork.
Well, the experience factor is always big, you know, to give the kids the experience of being in the playoffs, you know, being on the road, going to Hackleburg, you know, that was a nice trip. So just to have that type of experience with the younger kids, it was really big. So it won't be a culture shock to them or a surprise to expect what we expect out of the playoffs if we were blessed to have opportunity to make it. So that was really big because, like I said before, our team was really young this past year. We're not going to have a lot of seniors again, so we're still going to be young, but the experience factor was really big to have that first round, you know, even though it didn't turn out like the way we wanted. Of course, you want to win every game that you compete in, but to have that opportunity to play in the playoffs was really huge this past year.
Had it been a bit since they've been in playoffs or had it gone a bunch and you were
TC traditionally wins. So, you know, that's the big thing that these kids know. Their uncles, their brothers, their big brothers, their cousins. You know, TC is a winning program, and they're expected to compete and win and win as many games as the kids did in the past. So that's not a shock to them. That's what they do, and they're expected to win, and they taking that task to heart.
For the players, you guys have now been with Coach Mahan for a couple of years. We'll start with you, Travell. Talk about just knowing what he brings to the table and the expectation of the work ethic, the practices, and all the things leading up to the game.
Well, for me, knowing Coach Mahan, I know that he brings to the table that we need to work hard and dedication. Those are his main things, hard work and dedication. And for us, summer, like Coach trying to get all the players here, put in the hard work, dedication. We're going to have a great season. You know, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. So he brings great intentions to the table for TC. This summer we had pretty good amount of numbers. Like Coach was saying, we had a very short amount of numbers, but the numbers that were there, they worked hard. We did what we supposed to do as leaders. The coaches did what they were supposed to do, and Coach Mahan, he's a good coach. He brings great ideas to us all the time, try to give us good reasons. He just let us know everything gonna be all right, put his best foot forward with us.
I mean, Coach, I know you talked about some region games you just let get away last year. Is that something that motivated you guys to make you work a little bit harder in the offseason, in the summer?
Well, we definitely let some region games slide that we definitely had the opportunity to win and just being honest, should have won. So, once again, that just bounced back on playing so many young kids. So I don't think we will make the same mistakes we made in these past region games that we made this past year. So the region, like I said, is a really tough region for 1A. I consider it one of the toughest regions in the North in 1A. When you go to talking about Winterboro and Raglan and Watley and Victory Christian was extremely young. Even though they're a private school, those kids play hard as well. So it's going to be a very competitive region that we're going to be facing, and we're not going to get an opportunity to sneak up on anyone. Everyone is expecting us to be athletic and have speed and have a good football team. So we're going to get people's best foot. So we're going to definitely have to put our best foot forward to expect to win the games this year that we're expected to win. If we don't come to play football, then we're not going to like the results at the end of the game.
Where do you want to see? Where do you want to see your team go this year, Coach?
Well, like every coach here, I want to see us get an opportunity to play in the playoffs. If we're blessed to play in the playoffs, that'll be big for us. Anything after that is going to be a bonus. For us to get to the playoffs, it's going to take hard work. It's going to continue to take dedication from the coaching staff, the community, the administration, the players. This being a small-knit community, it takes everyone. It takes a village to raise a child. So everybody's going to put their best foot forward to have success that these guys are capable of having. I expect some great things out of these guys for the next few years, and to get that done, we're just going to put in the work to get it done. But I expect us and pray that we'll have an opportunity to play in the playoffs, and we'll just go from there if we get the opportunity to play in the playoffs.
Coach, you got some new guys in new places. You have to replace your quarterback. Just talk about how that transition been going.
Well, that transition is going pretty good. When you have the opportunity to put an athlete like we'll probably have the opportunity to do at quarterback, it's beneficial. An athlete can turn a bad play into a good one at the drop of a hat. So that's going to be beneficial to us just to have an athlete back there just to replace Corey. We hadn't figured out who that's going to be yet. We have a lot of guys vying for that position, and when we figure out who that's going to be, that's the guy that's going to run our team. So, we're replacing a few guys, but we're not as many as people might think. Like I said, we had a lot of freshmen and sophomores that started for us last year. So that was really big, once again, for them to get that type of experience. You can't replace game experience. I don't care how much you practice and how much you tell them. You just cannot replace them being on the field, getting that experience playing against another team. So that's definitely going to be big for us. But replacing the guys that we have to replace for last year, it can be done if these guys just put their best foot forward and go to work.
Just talk about your defense, man. TC's you're a defensive guy, and you had a solid year last year defensively. What do you see from your team this year defensively?
Well, this year defensively, we're going to change it up a little bit defensively. But just like any defense that I have, or any other defense coach that want their defense, we fly to the football, get 11 to the football, line up right, tackle well. If you do that, it really doesn't matter what defense you line up in, you're going to have success with your defense. So that's what I like to concentrate on defensively, just making sure a kid understands where to line up, make sure they know how the proper way to tackle to keep them from getting injured, and just make sure we get 11 people to the football. So that's just like a conditioning drill that we do, as well as practice, just to make sure we get 11 people to the football, because like I tell them, if you make a mistake defensively, if you get everybody to the football, you can correct that mistake. You might take that mistake from making a 5-yard gain instead of a touchdown if you get 11 people to the football. So that's why I like to preach defensively. That's why I like to preach defensively since I've been a defensive coach, period. So that's what we're going to do this year. We're going to fly to the football, line up right, and tackle well.
Chris, but what is it that you're changing? Are you scheme-wise, lineup-wise, and are you doing it to match the type player that you have this year as opposed to last year?
Well, we're gonna switch defenses just because it's gonna match better with our personnel. You know, that's. We're gonna change defenses. We're gonna change defenses this year. We're gonna run a little bit something different this year, but that's what coaches do. You know, coaches have to change their coaching techniques with their players dealing with high school. You know, you don't have the luxury when you're in college or something like that. You can go recruit to your system, but when the coaches have to adjust to their talent they have. You know, you might be a
Faster kids on defense this year?
well, they usually are pretty fast. We're not going to be as big as we probably were in the past, so we're going to try to use our speed to our benefit to get to the ball a little bit quicker. But that's basically what we're doing. You know, you got to adjust, especially on this 1A level. You have to adjust what you do offensively and defensively to what's the talent that you have that year, because it varies. You know, you could be a team with 4 or 5 defensive linemen that you might need to run a 52 when you usually run a 3-3 stack or 4-3 or something. Or you might be sitting back with a bunch of linebacker-sized kids, so you can't run that 52 like you used to. You might need to run a 3-3 stack or something like that. So being on this level, you just have to be a chameleon and just go with the talent that you have and adjust your offense and defense to the talent that you have.
So as we're news guys chasing news, what is it that you're fixing to do?
We're gonna put a great defensive team on the field come Friday night.
Coach, talk about that opening night. You got Talladega.
That game is always going to be big, whether I'm here or who's here. You know, those kids know each other. They go to church with each other. They shoot at the rec in the rec center with basketball with each other. A lot of them are related. So that's just a real big rivalry game. The kids get excited about that every year. You know, so that's not going to be any different this year. We're expecting a huge crowd on their side and our side. We want our fans to come out to support like their fans going to come out and support. So I really think it's like it's always been every year. It's going to be a great rivalry game. It's going to be a great football atmosphere. The kids are going to play hard. If they don't play hard another game this year, both sides are going to play extremely hard that game. So we definitely going to have to play football if we expect to come away. We'll win that game. If we don't, then we're not going to like the results.
Is it a benefit having a bye week after that game, Coach?
Yeah, you know, it's big to have a bye week going back into region play. It feels pretty good. It felt pretty good for us. You know, when you play a 5A school and you're a 1A, you know, you run the risk of getting bumped and bruised a little bit. So just to have that opportunity to sit back and maybe just heal a little bit before you go into region play, I think that's really big. You know, I didn't knock it. I didn't fight it. I thought it was a really good idea to open up at that time since we had that bye week right before we played Donahoe. So the bye week is big. I welcome it. You know, we can have 2 weeks to prepare for a really good quality team in Donahoe, and we're gonna do well.
They're going to be a different bunch now that Shannon's not there as opposed to now that
Well, one thing about Donahoe is that they're always going to put a well-disciplined kid on the football field. That never's going to change. And particularly in high school football, you know, if you get a kid to line up well, you get a kid to do what you ask them to do, you're going to win a lot more football games than you lose. And that's definitely what Donahoe going to do every week to week. They're going to put a disciplined kid on the field. They're going to run a good scheme. I've been knowing Andy like Coach Felder for years now, and they're not going to do too much different because Andy been with Coach Felder since Coach Felder been there. So they definitely going to still be a quality team that you're going to have to deal with. They may not be as talented as they were this past year, but as far as that, you know, if you take them lightly, they're going to end up biting you. You know, when you think you're friends with that snake, they're going to bite you. So you got to still take care of business if you're going to play Donahoe, because they're not coming on that football field to lose, that's for sure. And they're going to play football, and they're going to play hard from snap to snap. So if you're not going to play hard from snap to snap, then you're not going to like the outcome of that game.
I guess the other thing that's different, they don't have the big kid that went to Sanford.
Yes, Justin. Yeah, Justin was definitely an athlete on any level of football, you know, and he's definitely was a playmaker for him. But with them losing Justin, that's going to be an adjustment. But like I said before, you know, they're going to put a good. They're going to, when you go to private school, you get opportunity to recruit as well. So you can go out and get you a couple of kids. But You know, that's another thing that can come back and hurt you, that we don't know what they're going to bring to the field next year. You know, we might be looking for players that they had from last year, and they might show up with 3 or 4 more that you didn't know moved in, that they got in. So that's the bad part of playing them early, that you really can't tell what you're going to be facing that first game.
Let's talk about the playmakers you have. You got Jordan Swain. You got a few kids in the backfield that can make some plays for you. Just talk about those guys you got.
Well, like I said before, we're young, and a lot of my playmakers are young. So I'm definitely expecting them to stand up to the challenge this year. So if they do that, we're going to have the success that we need to have this year. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like I said, the experience factor is always big. You know, you can have a playmaker that try to make too many plays instead of just doing his job. So that's the experience factor that comes into play, not knowing that you don't have to be the team, that's the point of it, calling it a team, that one guy does not have to win the game. So that's really big, that I need my young playmakers to understand that you don't have to take the team on your shoulders and run with it, that you have teammates that you can lean on, depend on to also be successful. You know, that if you make a mistake, which you're going to make because you're human, because we all make them, that don't let that mistake drive you down for the rest of the game. You know, you shake that off and go on to the next play. So if my young playmakers understand that, then we're going to have the success that we're looking for this year.
My question's about leadership. Both these players, I'll start with you, Travell. What does leadership mean for you as a football player heading into this season? And then for you, the question on what does it mean to have a coach like Coach Mahan, and then you be the extension of that on the field?
Leadership to me, leadership is you stepping up, being a man, leading somebody in the right direction, doing the right things, the right way, a positive way. Coach Mahan, he put some leadership in me. When he came, you know, the way that Coach Mahan is set up, he builds young men to be how they're going to be in real life, how to be men in real life. So we take that into everyday ways, everyday life. The things that he teaches us, we take that with us on the field and off the field.
For many years, I've known Coach Mahan since I've been at Talladega. He was my first high school coach. He's been a good coach to me. He's always tried to keep me in check, keep me on the field, keep me playing sports, doing something active in a good way. You know, you got most people, like grown men and stuff that have kids. Like Coach Mahan actually treats us like his own kids, like he actually loves us, tell us that. Far as on the field, keep God first, keep his teaching second, and just play ball.
Any more questions? I think the Fighting Tigers win the award for the best trip. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glencoe, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Ooh, look at those toys.
Insurance must be expensive.
Nah.
I bet he's got.
The Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me now is TC Central head coach Chris Mahan, and these guys play at Alumni Field in the Cove, and there's nothing like home field advantage once you come to Howell's Cove, right, Coach?
You're right. I love it there. Wouldn't change for nothing in the world.
The best barbecue I've ever had was the man that cooks in the big grill in the end zone.
That's right. We've been known to have a pretty good concession stand at the Cove.
Love that barbecue, really do. Let's talk a little bit about your team. I know a year ago you were 6-5. You made it to the playoffs, and you lost in a shootout to Hackleburg. I recall, I think the final score was 50-48.
Yeah.
A game a lot of folks thought you could have won.
Yeah, we definitely could have won that game. We didn't have the defensive performance that we would like that game, but we had 2 pretty good offensive teams on the field that night. Hackleburg was definitely ready to play, and we was ready to play. Neither one of the coaches, I think, was pleased with defensive performance, but we definitely had the opportunity to win that game that night.
Anytime you go to the playoffs, it's a positive going into the next year. So I know there's a lot of positives when you talk about the 2015 version of the Fighting Tigers.
Well, definitely, like I said before, we're a young football team, and you can't put a price on experience. So when we had so many playing, so many young guys last year, coming back to this year, just to have that extra week of practice and the extra game preparation week, that was really big for my young players, just to get them opportunity to play in the playoffs like that.
Of course, you opened the season in 3 weeks, and you open on the road.
Yes.
And Coach Herring's right back there. But Talladega and TC has quickly developed into a great rivalry.
Well, it's always been a rivalry. We play them in basketball, football, baseball. The kids go to church with each other. They shoot at the community center together, basketball. And a lot of them are related. So the kids get a really big kick out of playing Talladega. I enjoy playing Talladega. It's a great atmosphere for football. Both teams are going to play hard. Both fan bases are going to be rowdy, and they're going to show up. So it's a great football atmosphere to open up a game like that, open up a season.
Right, it really is. And 2007, hard to believe it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
And TC Central played for the big trophy.
Yes.
Against Sweetwater. Do you think about that often?
I think about it because a lot of the kids that's playing with me now had cousins or nephew or uncles or something like that play on that team. So that's motivating to those kids to want to get back to the state championship because they have relatives that played on that team for me in 2007 that they want to compete against or do better than. So they have set the goal for themselves to maybe try to reach that pinnacle again, but it's going to take a lot of hard work to get there.
Talk about your region. I know this year in your region you have one team that will not be participating.
Right.
So do you look at that as a positive, maybe less teams to compete against in the region?
No, you don't look at it as a positive. I think this region that we're in is one of the better regions in the north. The quality of coaches and teams that we have in that region is going to be really competitive from week to week. It felt really good for us. Shades Mountain Christian won't fill a team this year, but it kind of benefited us because we play on week 9. So we're blessed to make the playoffs, and we may have a couple of kids bumped up or bruised that'll give us an opportunity to rest them a couple of weeks if we're blessed to have an opportunity to play in the playoffs. So it kind of felt pretty good for us, so I'm not complaining because it just gives the opportunity to rest up a little bit if we can.
Coach, thanks for joining us and good luck this year.
Thank you.
Coming up next, the team from Alpine. It's the Winterboro Bulldogs.
2015 Talladega County Coaches Association Football Media Day. Next up, we have the Winterboro High School Bulldogs, coached by Alan Beckett. He enters his third season in Alpine. For the Bulldogs, he has today with him Josh Fluker and Clay Twyman. The Bulldogs compete in Class 1A Region 5, and they open the season on August the 28th at Coosa Christian.
Coach, how you doing?
Doing good.
Talk about the summer and the guys you have with you.
All right. The summer's been it's been a pretty good summer. You know, the part is out of the way that you in a lot of fun. You know, when you're pushing people to do something that's pretty hard. You know, because man's probably basically just built to try to get by, and you push them to extremes, and there's no game that week. So all that stuff's out of the way. We've had a real good summer, the best. You know, it's year 3, the best work ethic so far. And y'all know from past years, I'll shoot you pretty straight if I don't think it is. But it has been pretty good. So now we're to the part of getting to the fun part, and we're getting to football. And with me, we've got Josh Fluker here to my right, and he's a wide receiver and a defensive back, and got him out. He was a basketball guy a couple years ago, and we got him out to play. And, you know, last year he kind of evolved and was learning the game. And this year he's beginning to blossom, had a big catch in our spring game and our and then in our 7-on-7, he's had a big summer so far. Clay Twyman to my left is our quarterback, and he also plays some defensive back. And you know, we were kind of building for the future. So he went through his 9th and 10th grade year, probably at times took some lumps, and but definitely developed as a quarterback and had a lot of success during that time. And his arms gotten stronger, gone to some camps, went to Sanford, and Freddie Kitchens and several camps, and plus he's worked. We put a little bit of bulk on him.
Coach Beckett, earlier or last year around this time, you had talked about going into that second season, how you were trying to get some of the, I guess, some bad apples from the previous program out and build a new identity, so to speak, kind of progress forward and get some players that were like all the players buying into one goal. How well did that transition go in your second year and heading into your third year? Are you where you want to be in terms of that?
You know, you know, the last thing you said, we're not where we want to be and not where we're going to be, but thank God we're not where we used to be. And it's kind of been a stair step because it is, as far as getting buy-in, it's been better. I thought last year was better. There was definitely some things that we want to correct and get even better. So, and I really feel year 3, through a lot of just off-season leadership work and mental work as well as the physical work and working hard in the weight room, I definitely feel it's better year 3 and attitudes and buy-in.
I spent a lot of time on the Winterboro sideline last fall covering some games. I saw a lot of great things, and I saw some things that could be improved upon. And I think the key thing that stood out for me in some of those games was ball security. And do y'all do a little extra work on that during the spring and summer to try to keep the handle on the possession of things? Because I think you try to do things with a good defense and running the ball with a lot of people, and security is a big issue there.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of our drills, our everyday drills, is a ball security and high and tight and 5 points of contact, and we do it regular, you know, and it's something we touch on every day, you know, it's got to be important to that back, and that again comes back to buy-in, you know, and having running backs that are bought in to what we're doing and believing that actually really works. And again, I think we're a little closer there. And I tell you, it comes back to a commitment from administrative level to have, you know, my first year we had 2 assistants as junior high and varsity. That's not enough, you know. And now we, you know, I'd like to put a plug in from Emily Harris, our principal, in that she's made investment. She's making an academic investment, and she's a good principal academically first, but she's made an investment on coaches for extracurricular, and we've got more coaches, and I do expect when you can divide up more individual in practice, it'll make a difference. But it is important. The giveaway, takeaway in a ball game is huge because you can generally on the stat sheet look and see if somebody's if they're turning the ball over 3 more times than the other team, they're generally going to lose that ball game. When you create a short field for somebody.
Kind of talk a little bit about Clay and his. I think isn't this his 3rd year starting or
It'll be
second
his 3rd years.
How much progress has he made in terms of like getting ready to lead this team as far as the upcoming season goes?
Well, and he's always been a mentally strong guy, and he's a competitor from the word go. He just as far as just physically evolving, and plus when you get to be down to these upperclassmen, now he can be he's a leader, and people. It's hard when you're that 9th grader and you're looking at those seniors and you're saying, hey, here's what's about to happen, and here's get to huddle quiet and that kind of thing. Now the leadership role is there with him, and he's able to throw the deep ball so much better than he was 2 years ago, just through strength and putting time into it.
Clay, where do you think you've improved the most coming into your 3rd year?
I think my arm strength, in just general, accuracy has improved, because I know I was erratic. When I first started off, I'll just be running around, I throw the ball, don't, follow through. My technique has improved, over the years.
You lost a couple of key guys on the team last year, Jatorius Cook, BJ, Deshaun Garrett. Kind of talk about who's going to fill the void left by those 3 players.
Yeah, Deshaun Garrett was a big void. He played a little bit of a lot of positions in linebacker and a lot of the skill positions, running back and receiver, and he was able to do a lot of things. And we were fortunate in the spring, and we had 5 tailbacks that touched the ball and productively. We played Raglan, which was they've won 9 or more games the last 7-8 years. You'd have to say they're 1A power, and we were able to have some success there with our several different running backs touching the ball. So as far as running back, I feel good about where we're at. Linebacker wise, we were turning off 4, and then we're just going to have to, as far as the defensive line, which is where Jatorius played. It's going to be a rotation. We're going to try to, play 7-8 guys, situation specific, and some are heavy front guys, and some of them a little bit more speed and speed downs and pass rushing downs and that kind of thing.
Other than Clay and Josh, who are some of the key returners coming in for this upcoming year?
Well, our linebackers are probably our strength. We return all 4 or 4 that were played a whole lot. Skill wise, we've got a lot of people that's gotten a lot of snaps. And Caleb Held and I.J. Brown both played outside. They're both as young guys, and I thought they evolved and really had a pretty good year, especially for 9th graders. Marcus McMeans, our inside guy, was our all-region, and he was our leading tackler. He's back. He's also playing a little bit more offensively. Close. We talked about Clay and Josh are both returners. Our entire offensive line started, although we've had it's never over. You got to continue to compete. We probably had a first team. We still got a battle going on there in a couple positions, but Jason Geis is going to evolve at left tackle because he was a young guy thrown into position because we had a Big Mike didn't end up eligible last year. Justice Garrett, we expect big things. He's returning. He'll now be a 3rd-year guy as a junior, kind of like Clay, at the right guard. Then R.J. Burns, now he'll be a 10th grader, and he's a returning starter. We had a lot of guys that, as young guys, kind of took their lumps, and will now be returning. And then at tailback, we got Nijavian Brown and Caleb Hale and Leon Estelle's coming in there, Marcus McMeans, and we got several guys that'll contribute.
Josh, how difficult was the transition from basketball to football in your first season, and where do you think you're headed going into this season?
Well, transferring from basketball to football, it was kind of easy, but it still gave me a little pressure because I'm really not a football player for real. I like basketball more. But when I came to the team, everybody made me feel welcome. I had my position, and I had played that position where I had, and I've been improving from then. But that's pretty much it.
Coach Beckett, who do you think is going to be the toughest game on the schedule this coming up year?
Well, let's talk about a region. I feel like a region ended up, Coach Mahan and I both were probably happy to go north, and because the South can be so athletic, but it ended up a really good region. In it, you had Ragland 9-1 and Wadley 10-0. I mean, it had Donahoe 10-0, and then Wadley was extremely talented 7-3 team. Their third, so those were three really strong teams. But this going into this year, I feel like Wadley's probably the team to beat, along with TC. TC returns a lot of guys, and just and Coach gets a lot out of them. So I think those two will be extremely strong. And Wadley returned the region MVP. Ragland has, like we said earlier, they've gone just about quarterfinals, with the exception of 1 or 2 years in the last 7-8 years. So you got to put them in the mix. Then Donahoe, had such a great season last year, and I know they lost a couple key players, but they got used to winning. And then I think Victor Christian is better. They had a couple kids move in, so it should be a pretty strong year region-wise. We closed with Fayetteville, which Fayetteville's definitely improved and turned into a bigger school and a lot more numbers. And, they should be a strong team there at the end of the season.
How are you going to – or how is the shift going to, improve to go from 4-6 to something greater in your third year? I mean, you improved a lot from the first year to the second season. Now it's time to – kind of jump up a little bit higher and reach.
We never put a number on things, and it. My thing is be the best you can be. Do the best to be the best. And I've seen teams that improved and they changed regions or and they couldn't tell it record-wise, and I know they were banging their head on the wall. But my thing is to maximize who you are and be the best you are, and then number-wise, I really believe if effort is there, it'll take care of itself. And our effort, that was an effort. We do an effort chart on how many hustles that a guy goes full blast, get into play, the end of the play. And if you learn to give effort from start to finish of a ball game, results will take care of themselves. They really will. And so we're trying to, and I felt like effort was down in here when we got there. I mean, I felt like it was below what imaginable, and then I thought we took a step in the right direction last year. It was just a step, the hope is to take another step this time.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, thank you, Coach Beckett, Clay, and Josh.
Thank you.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Do you owe the IRS back taxes? Are you being threatened with levies or garnishments? Is the IRS investigating or auditing you? Don't call the IRS alone. Let our experts negotiate for you so you pay the IRS as little as possible. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, call now and see if you qualify to pay less.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
And welcome back to Media Day here at Talladega County. Talladega Superspeedway, the location for the 4th annual Talladega County High School Football Media Day. Joining me now is third-year head coach Alan Beckett of the Winterboro Bulldogs down in Alpine. And coach, 4-6 a year ago, and I know you're looking for better things here in 2015.
Yeah, we're excited to get it started. We just kind of want to have a good practice Monday and build off of that and have another good practice day by day, win each day.
I was talking with Coach Limbaugh earlier today, head coach of Fayetteville, and you could just see the sparkle in his eye, and I think the same can be said for you, Coach. I think you're ready for some football.
Yeah, we're excited. We're ready for it to be here. After you battle them during the winter and in the summers to work so hard, and it's not game week. We're excited now we get the balls out.
As I said a year ago, you were 4-6. You want to improve this year, and you opened the season with Coosa Christian, a team that you were able to defeat a year ago, and to get off on the right foot with a W. That's, I'm sure, would help your program.
Yeah, you definitely want to get off on the right foot, and kids are human, and they want something that they can build off of.
And to go, and I keep harping on this, and I don't mean to, but 4-6 a year ago, and really, I know it's not what you wanted.
No.
But the region that you participate in, there's not an easy opponent, is there, when you talk about the Wadleys and the Donahos?
It's a good region. It is definitely a good region. Our big thing is we want to get our effort we feel like we have good kids and good players. We've got to get to where we feel like if we can get our how hard we play and our buy-in and our knowing our plays and going hard, we feel like we have a chance if we can get that part of the game. Dealing with adversity, when something doesn't go perfect, those are some of the things that we hadn't done a real good job of, and it's getting better. I know the society's a microwave, and it's kind of like your grandmother's Thanksgiving dinner. It's a slow roast, and we're getting in that direction.
Talk about some of your personnel. You just said that you have good kids and good players. Talk about some of them.
Well, two we brought with us today, Clay Twyman, and is our quarterback, and he's a guy that he loves the game and loves to play and loves ball, and he's he sees that SEC network every night, and he's a student of the game, and he just loves to compete. And we're going to actually be able to, he's getting a little older now, he's a junior. He got to play a lot. He's already seen a lot of snaps already, and he's going into his junior year, which gives him a lot of experience. We're actually going to run him a little bit this time, and I've been a little more precautious because he was a younger guy, but we're going to run him a little bit this time, but we expect big things with him. Josh Fluker came with him, and he's a guy that's first guy there and last to leave, and we're looking for big things out of those two guys. So we're excited.
Sounds good, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Coming up next, it's the Silent Warriors of the Alabama School for the Deaf.
Welcome back to the 2015 Talladega County Coaches Association Football Media Day. Next up, we have the Alabama School for the Deaf Silent Warriors. Head coach is Paul Kulick, who will be entering his 12th season. Today we have assistant coach Chris Moon filling in for Coach Kulick, who is out of town. Player representatives, we have Uriah Stallworth and Eddie Thomas. The Silent Warriors kick off the season at Waterloo on August the 21st.
Coach, tell us a little bit about how the summer's gone with getting the players ready for the upcoming year.
Okay, really, this it's the first time we got to see our players this summer. All of our players, they live all over the state of Alabama. So the last time we saw our players was back in May. And I know our head coach, who's actually Herminio Gonzalez, he's developing a workout regimen and a running plan for all the boys to follow. And we'll find out this Sunday when our players report back to camp.
Now, last season y'all had a 4-6 record, and but you averaged something like 34 points a game. In most teams, that's a pretty good number. But how do you improve upon your record when you're putting up that kind of points? I mean, what has to improve?
Okay, first of all, we have made wonderful improvements last year over the 2013 season. We have 20 players coming back from last year. They've all got the experience now. They know the system. And so we'll be ready, I think.
And this question's for Eddie Thomas. What will your role be in the offense for this upcoming year? I believe you play a little bit of running back, and I think it's Scott, the other guy, also plays as well.
Yes. My role's I'm going to play running back. Most of the time I just play different positions on the team anyway.
And for Stalwart, what's how are you going to be used on the team this upcoming season?
I'll be fullback and also defensive end. Last year he was a starter on the line, and this year we're going to move him to fullback. And he's going to be a key blocker for our offense.
Who are some of the key losses from last year's team, and how are you going to replace their contributions to the team?
Really, 95% of our players are coming back. So we lost a few players, but, you know, I'm a new coach for the Alabama School for the Deaf, and I've been out of coaching. I'm spending time with my family, so I'm coming back. So I'm looking forward to working with the players.
All right. What kind of offense are y'all going to run this year? I believe I've seen a lot of it looks like it's almost like a wing tee or wishbone or some kind of that style of offense. Is that going to continue for the upcoming season?
Our new head coach, Herminio, he was offensive coordinator last year, so I believe he will probably continue running that style offense, yes.
All right, and what about the defense? What kind of defensive alignment or scheme are y'all going to roll with for 2015?
I'm the new defensive coordinator, so I'm not sure exactly yet. I want to get to see the players first, see who I've got, and it may be a 3-4-5 or 3-5. I'm not sure yet. This week when we practice, I'll know better. We're really a small school, and we've got a small team. So for the players we have to change it to match the personnel we have.
What's going to be the biggest challenge coming up in this season for the team?
We have several games on the schedule that's going to be tough. We're got the experience from last year, having the 4-6 record. So with everybody coming back, we're hoping to play for a national championship with the deaf schools. So I think we have a good chance to do it, especially with the 5 seniors that we have on our team. So any of those 5 players, they could be sitting up here. The only 2 could make it here, so.
Eddie Thomas, what's the biggest challenge or that comes with being with the deaf school and playing against teams that don't have to play with hearing disabilities or things like that?
My biggest challenge, we playing against Florida Deaf School. They had a good team, and we really struggled. It was a wonderful team that they had. You know, we worked hard, but we could have done it, but it was just so much of a challenge. Now we have the experience. So.
Hey, Chris, my name's Al Muskowitz, and I'm with the East Alabama Sports Today website in Anniston. I wanted to ask you something about what you'd mentioned in one of your previous comments. You were talking about the trying to win the national championships for amongst the deaf schools, and you guys are playing in the high school association schedule stuff as well. How do you guys balance the challenge between the high school regions and playing the demands for playing for the deaf school national championships? And can you kind of explain that to guys like us that aren't familiar with that as much?
We have a tradition of playing the deaf schools. We do that every year.
Right.
And we're going to continue that.
Right.
And one of the big reasons that we're not involved in a region per se is that we try our best just to balance our schedule to set up games against hearing schools and also against deaf schools. And, you know, our kids, they have challenges playing both of them and balancing that schedule, but so far it's worked out well for us.
And then one other thing, when you had mentioned that you're the new defensive coordinator, and I think the fellow over here talked about how you guys you were 4-6 last year, averaging 36 points on offense. Could you just speak to, and I know you said you haven't seen the boys and you probably won't get with them until Sunday, but how much do you see tweaking your defense, improving the defense, when the coaches got together? Is that the number one priority to bring improvement to your team, sharpening your defensive play?
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to watch some of the films from the games from last fall. And one of the big mistakes that I've seen them made is tackling. We're very weak in that, and that's one thing we're going to have to work on to improve. And then our coverage from our defensive backs. We've had several blown coverages, and so we're going to work on that also and tweak that some. And we got 3 new assistant coaches this year. So we're going to look, as soon as we can, we're going to look at tweaking our system, changing it up.
All right, my name is Gerhard with TV24 out of Oxford. This question is for the players. We can start with Uriah. You guys get to do something that most football players around the country don't get to do, and travel around, play in places like Indiana, and Florida, and Louisiana. Talk about that experience, going on the road and places like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It helps motivate me. I get to see different cultures, pick up from different areas. So, you're asking.
And then Eddie as well.
Yeah. Going to the different deaf schools, I like the experience. But seeing how they call their plays differently and everything, it's enjoyable traveling around and playing against the different schools.
Want to take anything? I just wondered if you had anything for it. Put it away. That it? No further questions? That's it. That's all good.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Big Daddy's Barbecue on Highway 21 is where Munford comes to eat. You'll always find delicious home cooking daily with fast, friendly service. Big Daddy's offers plates or sandwiches with all your favorite sides to choose from, specializing in wings, burgers, chicken, ribs, and barbecue. Open early, open late, 6 days a week. Come in with family or friends or call ahead and take it home. 256-358-9005. Big Daddy's Barbecue, proud supporters of the Munford Lions.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Reset Addiction Treatment Helpline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll find you the right treatment regardless of your financial situation. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So take 5 minutes of your time and call us right now. We're here answering the phone. I promise it'll change your life.
Call right now, 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754. That's 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754.
Have you got the new car itch but don't want to take the plunge with a brand new car? How about getting the most car for the money at Avery Auto Sales? They have a large selection of cars with even some 2014s in the mix. And if you're worried about your credit, don't. They can help get you back on your credit feet with guaranteed approval. Check them out online at AveryAutoSales.net. Then when you see something you like, call them at 256-835-8897 for a test drive. Or just go by. Avery Auto Sales is located on Highway 78 East between Highway 78 and Snow Street in Oxford. That's Avery Auto Sales.
8 down and 2 more to go here at the 4th annual Talladega County High School Football Media Day from the Talladega Superspeedway, the Ken Patterson Media Center. I'm Jeff Ellison, been with you throughout the afternoon, and now we go to the 5A classification. Down south Talladega County, it's Coach Matt Griffith and the Sylacauga Aggies.
The 11th season at the helm. Today we have Alex Thomas, Dontario Story, and Jalen Thomas here representing Sylacauga High School. The Aggies compete in Class 5A Region 3, made the playoffs for the last 5 seasons, and they opened the season on August the 21st at Chilton County.
Coach, talk about the guys you have with you in the summer. You got something.
I tell you what, we've had a great summer. It's probably been the most kids we've had come up to a summer workout program. We probably didn't drop below. And it's 9th through 12th. It's not 10. We'll dress 10th through 12th. We have our 9th graders come up. We probably average 70, 75 kids 3 days a week in a summer program. We think that our summer program is where we get ahead of a lot of other schools. because of our kids' attendance and consistency. Man, these guys have a lot to do with that. Between all three of these, I don't think they had a cut the whole summer. So, and we have a lot of kids that are like that they are consistently there. And that's not only about getting better. That's a safety thing. We're ready to start practice, and kids have been in the heat and they're in condition, and you don't have to worry about them as much.
Coach, we talked about this at the end of the regular season last year. This is a class that is really used to success. How do you maintain that and keep these guys motivated to keep going out there and being consistent?
That's a great question. I mean, because every year, I call it my Tommy Tuberville speech. When Tuberville lost his job at Auburn, I can remember walking in our weight room, and our kids are all on the ground, and we're doing our abs and core. And I said, guys, I love Coach Tuberville, because I love Auburn. But he got complacent. And the biggest thing that we can't do is ever get complacent that it's just good enough to keep having winning seasons, keep going to the playoffs. We want to keep pushing the envelope to the point that we think, or we hope, that we can make some noise in the state, that we push to the third and fourth round, that we push to make state championship runs. And if you always have that in mind and sell that to the kids, that those are the things that drive us, and that every team's a different team. You're starting over every year, really and truly. Even when you got kids coming back, it is a constant motivation of what that team can do and how their mental outlook will be.
Coach, you said that you wanted to air it out a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball, but how do you make sure, you get the ball into the hands of your playmakers?
Well, that's the big. I think we do as good a job of getting it to playmakers as much as anybody, and you're going to feed a good running back when you've got a good running back. But you also have got to throw the ball enough to keep it off that good running back so they don't just press and press and press. We struggled last year when we lost a throwing style quarterback in game 4. He goes down with an ACL injury. We went right back with a 10th grader who was a very good option style quarterback, but was so young he was struggling throwing. He had a fantastic summer. He really threw the ball well in our 7-on-7s. Story's one of the few kids here at Ontario that will be going both ways. He plays corner and Z receiver. And a lot of things over the years, the quarterback throwing the football, to be able to throw successfully, it's a lot of having good receivers too, of running good routes. And there's been years that we've had quarterbacks that can throw and not had kids that can get open. So, part of it's getting open. So there's no doubt we want to go back to that 2009, 2010 year where our quarterback is throwing for 16, 17, 1,800 yards. We've got a running back rushing for 12, 13, 1,400 yards, and we're a little bit more balanced.
You've got 2 quarterbacks working with you over the summer. Just talk about what you've seen from them and just kind of the decision to how you're going to utilize them both as the season progresses.
Well, as the summer progressed, they came out of spring and really we're working 3. We have a young 10th grader named Keaton Wilson. His older brother, Kelsey and Kyle Pope, played for us about 4 or 5 years ago. Kelsey went on to play at Sanford. Kyle went on to play at Jacksonville. He's had a good summer also. Right now, we'll probably use in some different positions, but we have 3 kids that we think can run the offense. That's a luxury for us. At the end of this summer, we brought both quarterbacks in. We are making a move with the Jordan Daniel kid as a free safety. He will be the backup quarterback. Jackson Walker will be the starter, and then we're going to go from there. And both of them feel real good about it. It was a good situation to be in that we've got 3 quarterbacks. And all 3 quarterbacks can play safety, and 2 of those could play a receiver or a corner somewhere. So that's a good problem to have. Everybody's going to get on the field in some form or fashion to help us win football games.
And this question is for Alex in Ontario. What's it been like working with 2 quarterbacks over the summer, and how do you think the offense has progressed since the end of the last season?
I mean, honestly, coming up as going to school together, we played as young kids, but it really wasn't a big adjustment or something new. It was just he's coming in, okay, we know what we got to do and we got to make this happen.
And Alex?
Yeah, it wasn't a big adjustment. I feel comfortable with both of them because during practice you can get reps with either one, and that gets us used to playing with whoever's at the position.
Alex, you're coming off a pretty good rushing season. Does that kind of success, build up on your own personal expectations, or are you just out there to just do what the coaches tell you? How does that work for you?
Nah, I think I just want to do whatever I need to do to make the team be as successful as it can be. And if that calls for me to rush a lot or just block or do whatever I need to do.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your defense. You have a really strong defensive line, a little bit sparse in the defensive backfield. Just tell me what you've seen from them this summer.
Well, we felt good coming out of spring training with, of course, Jalen here solidifies one side of the defensive end. Our front four is very solid. It's probably as solid as it's been in a while, and it can run. It's fast. Linebacking situation, we have some linebackers coming back. We're a bigger linebacker group, but probably not as fast. We've got one that's got real good speed, and the other two are more really run-stop guys. Secondary-wise, we had Ontario coming back at a corner. We have Cade Bryant coming back at a safety. And with moving one of those quarterbacks back to a safety, Jordan was a starter in the 10th grade at safety before he became the quarterback. So we've got 3 of the 4 necessary. We've got to come out. We got 2 kids battling for the next corner position, and then it comes down to depth. We've got to have some 10th graders step up and give some depth at some secondary spots and at some linebacker spots.
Now, Jalen, tell me what you're thinking about this defensive line. What's y'all's mentality as you go into this season?
I really could say that our defense is, we are strong as one. So I think our front four, we're able to stop the run, so that can give a rest for the linebackers or, the secondary. So I think, me as a defensive lineman, just keep the defense going and be a leader for, the whole team. So I think our defense will be pretty good this year. So
how does it feel knowing that they're going to be relying on you to take over the line of scrimmage so that, you can help them out a little bit?
Last year is coming in as a junior, I came from Comer. So, it took leadership to, to just, be able to help everybody, keep them going. So I think them looking up to me is, as a player, as just a person, as an individual, I think it's a really good feeling. So, everybody wants to have that feeling as, I could be a leader, not a follower. So I think it's a really good thing.
Coach, care to talk about your schedule a little bit?
Well, we feel good about our schedule, of course. Everybody made a big deal when we went 7 classifications. And, there's no doubt in the long run 7 classification helps because you go from one of the smallest 5As to probably one of the top 15, top 20. But I tell you what we found out. There's some really, really, really good 4A football that moved up to 5A. When you put yourself in there with Clay Central, you put yourself in there with Talladega, you put yourself in there with Beauregard, that's good football moving up. And they've got very good coaching staffs. You've got to bring your A game, every game. We've gone from playing the Briarwoods and the Homewoods, but you go into playing those top schools too, and it's good football. I think it may be the best region till you get down around Mobile area. I think it's the best 5A region out there for football. And the 4 that I mentioned and the rest in our region, it's anybody's ball game who finishes 1, 2, 3, or 4. I told somebody the other day that we were 7-3, Tallahasea's 8-2, Clay was 8-2, and I think Beauregard was 7-2. There's one game separating all, and we just beat each other up. And when everybody's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you could have reversed them all of who's in that area. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good to see.
Coach talked about the complacency earlier. I want to get some of the players' thoughts about avoiding that and what that looks like from a tangible standpoint, and then being able to take that next step forward. We'll start with Alex and go with that.
Yeah, you always want to do better than the year before, and you have goals that you set, and you can't just get used to doing like what the teams before you did. You want to go down as the best team to come through. That's why we work hard in the summer, and we get motivation from the coaches to do things that we haven't been done in a long time.
How I feel about that, you don't want to be complacent. You don't want to settle for, what you've done. You want to go and get better as the season progresses. So it's like, we went, last year we went first round playoffs. We need to set a goal that's what we want to go maybe 3 games or even more. We have this thing called ring chasing is what it means, so we want to win state. So I think that motto will help us in the long run. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, as you said before, coaches always express the feeling of you can't accept the minimum. Not many people play this game. So, I mean, you gotta give every play, every down, your best. And that's how we look at this season and how we're going to do it.
Any more questions? If not,
All right.
Griffin, thanks.
You got it.
That's a wrap.
Appreciate y'all coming.
Have you got the new car itch but don't want to take the plunge with a brand new car? How about getting the most car for the money at Avery Auto Sales? They have a large selection of cars with even some 2014s in the mix. And if you're worried about your credit, don't. They can help get you back on your credit feet with guaranteed approval. Check them out online at AveryAutoSales.net. Then when you see something you like, call them at 256-835-8897 for a test drive. Or just go by. Avery Auto Sales is located on Highway 78 East between Highway 78 and Snow Street in Oxford. That's Avery Auto Sales.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
We know Talladega's a little bit out of the way, but our drive-out prices crush the competition. Come get your Bill deal from Bill Stanford in Talladega today.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
And welcome back to Media Day. Talladega County from the Talladega Superspeedway, Jeff Ellison alongside. Now is the Dean of Coaches in Talladega County, and now in his 11th season as head coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, Coach Matt Griffith. How does that feel, that label, Dean of Coaches?
Well, I mean, I just saw Levante. Levante was a student at Pell City when I was coaching there. He just turned 30. So, you know, and I look at pictures when I first got to Sylacauga, and all my kids were really little, and I was all dark-haired, and everything's going gray now, but it's been good. It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to keep being a lot of fun. As long as you keep winning ball games, you keep staying in place.
And you've had a lot of success at Sylacauga, Coach. You really have. I know a year ago you made the playoffs, but I heard you make this statement a couple of years ago, and that is you don't necessarily want your team to make the playoffs. You want to go deep into the playoffs.
We do. You know, and our goal is always, you always tell kids to have a winning season, make the playoffs. But we've done that so consistently now you know, we talk about making noise in the playoffs and being considered one of the best 5A schools in the state. You can't do that unless you get out of the second and third round. Your kids don't get the recognition unless they get out of the second or third round. So, you know, those are goals that we have. Our kids talk about it all the time, and I talk about my Tommy Tuberville speech as far as when he lost his job at Auburn. I said, hey, boys, you can't get complacent. Every year's a different year. You got to work, and you can't get complacent.
Tough region as always.
Yeah, good football. I tell you what we learned. We came out of that Briarwood and Homewood, and we found out that, you know, there's 3 or 4 really good 4A schools that moved into 5A with Clay and Talladega and Beauregard. Excellent coaching staffs. They do a good job. Good, hard-nosed kids. Maybe the toughest 5A region around besides when you get around Mobile.
And you opened the season, of course, non-counter Chilton County, I understand.
It is, and it's always a tough one for us, especially when we go there. Always tough ball game. Good, tough kids there, too.
Thanks for joining us, Coach, and go Aggies.
Hey, well, thanks for having us. Thanks y'all providing this for the teams in Talladega County.
Thanks again. Final team of the day, Coach Robert Herring and the Talladega High School Tigers.
Welcome back to the 2015 Talladega County Coaches Association.
Thank you. Good deal.
Just drop it in the
Our
seat
final
there.
team of the afternoon will be the Talladega High School Tigers, coached by Robert Bone Herring.
I said, hey.
I
Coach
sure
Herring
will.
has
I'll see him this
him,
weekend.
Jaquan Scales and Robert Green. The Tigers compete in 5A, Region 3, and open the season at home against Talladega County Central High School on August the 21st.
Coach, kind of talk a little bit about the summer and how well the players have kind of come together over the course of getting ready, going into your, I believe, 3rd season.
You know, this has sort of been a disappointing season for summer workouts for us. We don't have but, what, seven seniors. You know, and it's hard to compete in 5A football with those kind of numbers. But the seniors that we do have, they're there and they're showing up and they're working. You know, we've got some younger kids that's going to have to step up here Monday because they're going to have to. You know, we've had a lot of kids that's missed a few workouts this summer, which, you know, you've got to be there all summer. And, you know, you've got to pay a price if you want to win. You know, that's what we're trying to instill in these kids, a little discipline, you know, control of yourself, you know, and making good decisions. It's going to be a tough year for us just because we don't have the numbers. I think we had 25 in the spring, and that's 9 through 12. But we're going to go out there, we're going to compete, we're going to work hard, you know. Like I said, we open up against TCC, and that's a big game for us. You know, I'm telling you, Mary Dumas will be the biggest crowd we have all year will be that game. And these kids, they know each other, you know, especially the way social media is today with Facebook, Snapchats, and other things I don't even know, you know. But we're going to come out there and we're going to fight. We're going to compete every game, you know, and we're going to, you know, try to show you what Talladega Pride is all about.
How discouraging is it coming off those summer workouts, especially after the season, the way the season ended last year, the 2-7 record?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it was tough. You know, you try to preach to your kids. You know, if you want to win, if you want to pay that price, you've got to be committed. You know, and last year we had a great group. These guys will tell you the group of seniors we had last year, we thought we had a chance to win 4 or 5 games. You know, maybe sneak in that 4th seed in the playoffs somehow. And then, you know, after the TCC game, we had a big win. Then we had a week off. Then the next week, if we start a region play, we have a little melee at school, and we lose, you know, 5 stars on defense and 2 or 3 on offense. And so now everything you worked for last year, from the spring game, beating Childersburg, through summer workouts, going to summer camps with kids, everything then now is just blown to the wind. You know, so that was so disappointing for us as coaches, too. Not only are we in there putting up time, energy, and effort, and then all of a sudden you have one little mishap like this, and it costs you your whole summer workouts and your whole senior season for those guys.
Now is that sort of thing kind of like an isolated incident, and it's something you don't anticipate happening this year? And how much discipline do you have to instill in the team to kind of not get involved in that situation, kind of take themselves out of that if you see something going on that could potentially be bad, just kind of like drift away from it?
Oh, yeah, well, we preach that. I mean, you know, we tell our kids, guys, if you get in trouble, you can't play on Friday nights. You know, so how important is you to get in a fight or to play on Friday night? You know, there's other places you can do this besides at school, you know. But our main thing is trying to make these kids realize there's something else after Talladega. You can go to college. You can get you a degree, you know. There's so many things positive that you get out of football. Football is just like life. If you're going to get knocked down, how are you going to get up? You know, and that's what we preach to these kids. Like I said, these 2 right here I go to battle with every day of the week and twice on Sundays. They've come, they do what they ask you to do. You know, but we've got to get, I've heard a lot of these coaches talking about we've had 80% participation or 90% participation, you know, in their summer workouts. What kind of participation do you think we've had, guys?
About 85.
I'd say about 75.
You know, so I mean, until you get those numbers where those people understand, you know, it's a team deal. You can't have one player or two players. You've got to have your whole team there at least 3 to 4 days a week in June, 4 days at least in July, because now you're in August and you're 3 weeks for your first game. But like I said, we're going to get out there, and, you know, right now, for all summer, we've had me, the head coach, and Coach Blair, and Coach Sewell. That's the only paid coaches we've had at the workouts all summer. You know, we don't have teachers hired. So, you know, until you hire teachers, and you can't hire coaches.
Who's going to replace Ken Wells at quarterback for y'all this season?
Ashton Duncan. He'll be a 10th grader. He had a great spring with us, and he had some good summer workouts. We went to the University of West Georgia camp, and he did a great job there. Scales went. He was the best receiver they had at the camp. Caught more balls than anybody. Didn't drop the fewest. You know, we're trying to do things to get these kids out there and get their name there so they can get scholarships. You know, we had a kid 2 years ago, Ahmad Gooden, went to Sanford, and he's a player for them. You know, he's 26 or 7 on ACT, 4.0 student, you know, and now he's come back this summer. He's worked out with us, and he's trying to talk to these kids about doing the right things, making the right decisions. You know, that's one thing you ask these kids, I tell them every day. It's not as long today as it was yesterday. You know, but like I tell them, I said, show me your 5 friends you hang around with, and I'll show you what road you're going down in life right now.
Question for both Jaquan and Robert. As kind of leaders on the team, and you're going to these summer workouts, and you're not seeing that effort, how does that make you feel coming into the fall season? Like you gotta know you have every player around you has your back and is going forward for the same goal, and if everybody's not showing up, then
it's kind of frustrating actually. You know, people not being in workouts, you know, grinding like the other players, you know, feel like they getting left behind for real. So, really, like, we just got to get them there, get on working, you know what I'm saying? Get them there, get on working, you know, then hopefully in the fall, when we come out, we have a big bang.
I feel like, if they don't come to workouts, like you see the same thing over and over, like you're going to see another 2-7 season. The only thing you can do is tell them and try to get them there. You can't force them. So we just try our best as leaders to make them come to workouts or get them there.
I'm trying to remember last fall. I think I covered I think it was y'all's homecoming game, and y'all played really well in that. I think y'all won the homecoming game last year. Springville game, yeah.
That was a great game for us. You know, like I said, Ken Wells and Mario, you couldn't ask for 2 better guys on offense from what they did. And, you know, defense, you had Josh Madden and Anton Garrett, great senior leaders. You know, and that was, you know, probably our best game of the year, I would think, when you.
Yeah, best game.
I mean, you know, Ken probably his best offensive game. Receivers all had good games. I think Rod might have had a pick in it. But, you know, that was, you know, and after that game, you look around and everybody's smiling, you know, to where the other 7 or 8 games, you look around, it's like you lost your best friend. You know, that's what we're trying to, you know, instill in these kids. You got to put something into it to get something out of it. It's that simple.
Do you think coming out the gate strong and beating TC kind of gives you a little bit of spark of confidence going into the rest of the schedule, or do you have to come out the gate like?
Oh yeah, we've got to come out and win that first game. I mean, there's no question about it. You've got to win that first game at home if you want to have a chance to be successful the rest of the season. It's as plain as simple as I can put it.
I think you had talked about being in 5A and some of the challenging teams out there. What's the biggest challenge on your schedule this coming season?
Our biggest challenge is us. Is our kids doing the right things? Our kids not getting in trouble. Our kids showing up on time, doing what they're supposed to do. Instead of when 4th block athletics is over, get on the bus and going home instead of coming to football practice. That's our biggest challenge. Now we have a good schedule. You know, I'm telling you, Coach Griffin does a great job at Sylacauga. Coach Battles at Tallahassee has always done. Him and his daddy both, two people I look up to. And we have a good rivalry. You know, and like I said, we like to play those games, and we want to win some of those games. You know, like I tell our guys, every day is a day you get up and look in that mirror and say, I'm gonna have a good attitude today. We have shirts that have AIE on them. Attitude is everything. Because there's a lot of circumstances these kids can't help. You know, where they live at home with, you know, mother and daddy or single parent, or live with their cousin, their aunts, their uncles, grandparents. You know, the one thing we tell these kids every day, what you can't control is the attitude you attack the day with. And that's what we preach to them. Attitude is everything.
This is for both players. Forget all the frustration stuff and all that. Talk about your love for the game, as far as everything that drives you to go to workouts, to come to spring practice, to come to summer practice when it's 90 some odd degrees outside. Just talk about your love of the game, what brings you back every single day.
I love the game. I love the game a lot, actually. What brings me there is, you know, being there for my players. You know, the ones that come to practice, the ones that don't come to practice. You know, I grind for them, you know. You know, if they get on my back, I'm trying to take them to a championship every year. In my last year, so hopefully we get a championship this year.
I love playing football. This is like another life, another world for me. I mean, like, I just love sweating and working out for my teammates. Just knowing that they look up to me as a leader, so they can believe in me as in help us win more games. It gets me up every morning at 6 o'clock, make it there on time, 7:15, we stretching, 7:30 we in the weight room, and it's just all day, and I just love it.
Robert, back here.
Yes, sir.
Coach Robert.
Oh, okay.
And it relates to what young Robert was saying. Can you see that in that passion for the game in Robert when he comes to work out, how he carries himself on the field, and how much do you appreciate that based off or against the other stuff that you were talking about that it may or may not be there?
Oh yeah, I mean, as coaches, like I said, I've got me and two other coaches that's been there all summer, but we know in the morning there's certain kids, which we'd say maybe 10, that you know, unless something's happened, they're going to be there. You know, if it's raining, they're going to be there. You know, no matter what happens, they're going to be there. And there's 3 or 4 kids I go pick up myself every morning. I go pick up a group at Westgate and another group over there at the east side. You know, because they don't have rides to practice, but I don't mind going to get them. But you can see in the mornings, they get there, they work out, and they get through, they come up to you, look, coach, you know, they're sweating, wringing wet. You know, but our problem is we've got 10 or 12 doing that instead of 25 or 30. You know, and in 5A football, with 5 seniors, about 7 or 8 juniors, 10 or 11 sophomores, and these freshman guys, you know, you can't win in 5A football playing freshmen.
But specifically to Robert, you brag on him a little bit about.
Oh, well, he's been here, you know, since I got here. He started for us. He does a great job. This year he'll be a running back, and he also starts at outside linebacker. He'll be on every kickoff return, punt return, just like Chase Scales will. I mean, these two guys right here, like I told you, I'd go to war with them. You know, it's always yes, sir, no, sir. You know, you ain't got to worry about the principal or athletic director calling you in and saying, hey, I've got a problem with Robert or Quan, because it doesn't happen. You know, and that's a good part about teaching and coaching. You see a change in these kids, and I've watched these kids since they were 9th graders come up, you know. Love them to death. Couldn't ask for 2 better kids.
Is outside of family stuff, Robert Green, is there anything that you like more or love more than football?
Baseball.
Oh, yeah?
I like baseball a lot.
You got a pulling from one field to the other? Is he going to have that option to play one or the other someplace?
He should. You know, plus, you know, the baseball coach we had, he has resigned and moved on. We had another coach that came in and sort of took over, you know, as far as cutting grass, weed eating, baseball duties he's done. Play dates, first time y'all done that?
Since I've been here.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, the guy that came in, he's, you know, had 2 different play dates this summer for baseball. You know, he's got the kids working.
We give them. Make a decision someplace along the line whether you want to be a baseball player or a football player.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna make a decision, but as of now, I really don't know. And what decision that would be made, but it'll be a good one at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I tell you, it don't matter if you go to Sanford, West Alabama, UNA, or Alabama or Auburn. A scholarship is a scholarship. Mom and Dad's going to love you forever.
Aside from Ken Wells, who are some of the guys that you are replacing from last year's lineup?
Oh, Ken Wells, Mario, the number 10 receiver, which was awesome. Big Lick, offensive lineman. Anton Garrett, Chino, Beanie, or what's his real name? Kendarius Smith. Last year we had a good, like I said, we thought we had a good group of seniors, 15 of them last year, which is a lot for us, and thought we had a chance to really do something, just things happened, it didn't work out that way. And this year we knew we were going to be young. We're going to play a 10th grade quarterback that's got to replace Ken Wells. We'll have a 10th grade 1 or 2 wide receivers that's going to have to step up, and take the place of the guys that left. And for us, that's it, just telling these guys, hey, if you quit sports, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, the first time you quit, everything in life gets easier to quit. Next thing you know, you'll quit school. Then you'll quit your job. Then later on in life, you and your wife don't get along. Then you'll quit your marriage. That's when we try to preach to them, finish. Just finish strong.
That might be a good way to wrap up the 2015 version of the Talladega County Coaches Association Media Day. We certainly want to thank the Talladega Superspeedway for hosting us and all the players and coaches for their participation, and as well as the media for coming out and making this day a big success. Good luck to all, and thank you all. Have a good day.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife? Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glen Cove, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world.
We were there with the first refrigerator, light bulb, and radio.
As Isbell National Bank, we celebrated the airplane, penicillin, and the first video game console.
VHS tapes, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega.
Our name may be changing, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Do you owe the IRS back taxes? Are you being threatened with levies or garnishments? Is the IRS investigating or auditing you? Don't call the IRS alone. Let our experts negotiate for you so you pay the IRS as little as possible. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, call now and see if you qualify to pay less.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Big Daddy's Barbecue.
He's the head coach of my alma mater. Representing the class of 19, is that good enough, Coach?
85.
No, I wish, really. But when I was in school, they didn't have history.
Right.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yes,
Robert Herring joins me, the Tiger head coach. And of course, Coach, we just heard your comments just a moment ago in front of the media. And it's no secret the fact that it's been 1994 since the Tigers have had a winning program. But I believe, and I think you do too, that streak's about to come to an end.
I hope it is. We're working like it is. I can promise you that. And like I said, we don't have the numbers other schools have. But, you know, the kids we got are coming out there and they're working to give us 110%. That's all you can ask. You know, like I said, we've got 7 seniors, you know, about 10 or 11 juniors. And, it's just hard to win in 5A football, those numbers. If you just looked at our numbers, you would think we were a 1A school, you know, just for the numbers. But that's just part of it. We're going to go out there and we're going to work every day and, you know, try to instill in these kids winning, you know, if not, how you react to losing.
I made the trip to Jacksonville State when you played your jamboree a few months ago. And I thought your opening drive, and I know how coaches break games down, and I thought your opening drive was very impressive and as impressive as any school I saw up there.
It was about 13 plays, you know, covered 70 yards, a couple of passes on third down, which were crucial, you know, then the fullback, you know, had a couple of good totes, tailback did also. And when you look at it on film, it's like you said, it was a great opening drive. And then we turn around defense and we stopped them 3 and out. You know, then we have another drive, that second drive, which is about 12 plays, but we get down there and fumble. And then their first play, they run a reverse for about 80 yards, and then from then on, it was just like we shut down. Right. You know, but until then, and that's another deal when numbers come in. I think Alexandria had 20-something seniors, where we had 25 total players, and it just, you know, like you said, after a minute here, a minute there, then all of a sudden you start seeing that, you know, we give out, or you just get tired, and instead of players doing what they're supposed to do, you know, they start doing their own thing.
Of course, you play in a region where, just like all regions, the top 4 teams advance to postseason play, and I think Talladega's got a shot at getting one of those 4 spots. I really do.
We think we do as coaches. You know, and if you don't think you got a shot at playoffs, you need to get into something else. Like we told our guys, you've got to win these 3 games to get into the playoffs. You know, and that's what our kids know. You know, the TCC's good, Springville's good, and Munford, that last game of the year, those are all games we want to win. But those aren't the star games. You know, the star games is Tallahassee, Marbury, Beauregard, Shelby County, and Sylacauga. You know, then you can't ever leave out Clay because they're a tough physical brand of football. Coach Harry does a great job with them. But out of those teams, you want to try to sneak in there and let us get that 4th spot and steal it and be the first time Talladega's been in the playoffs since '94.
This time of year, we're heading into August. Of course, the season starts August 21st for most teams. This is a very busy year for football coaches.
But I don't know anything else to do. Yeah. You know, that's all
Your
I know.
family.
Yeah. Daddy does it, brother does it. You know, my sister's in education, my mother was, so it's a family deal for us.
Coach, good luck.
I appreciate it. Thanks, and y'all do a great job. We enjoy it.
Thanks very much.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with more from the Talladega Superspeedway on the 4th Annual Media Day here on FNN.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Reset Addiction Treatment Helpline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll find you the right treatment regardless of your financial situation. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So take 5 minutes of your time and call us right now. We're here answering the phone. I promise it'll change your life.
Call right now, 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754. That's 1-877-798-5754, 1-877-798-5754.
Well, have you learned anything? Talladega County football. We've heard from all 10 coaches, players, and everybody's ready for the 2015 season to begin. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast this afternoon as FNN is able to bring you the 4th Annual Talladega County High School Football Media Day from the Ken Patterson Media Center here at the Talladega Superspeedway. And let me remind you before we leave that coming up 3 weeks from today, August 21st, is when it all gets started, the 2015 high school football season. And join us here, FNN, that Friday night. We'll have 2 games for you. We will have on FNN. It will be the Auburn Tigers, that's the high school level now, the Auburn Tigers taking on the Titans of Gadsden City. That game will be played at Titan Stadium, and we will be at Mary Dumas Stadium. FNN2 coverage there as the Tigers of Talladega High School host the TC Central Fighting Tigers. It all gets underway 3 weeks from tonight. Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Ellison. You've been watching the Talladega County High School Football Media Day from the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll see you this fall.